All right, everybody, welcome back to Total Disclosure. Live across the globe. The lines are going to be open tonight. And if you're watching this right now, I need you to pause whatever else you're doing, mute the other tabs and pay very close attention. Listen, I don't often say things like the the conversation or the lexicon or that I think anything actually is needle changing unless I feel different about it. And I actually feel that way. And without trying to sell anything, I'm starting to feel that we are in some sort of shifting paradigm. And it's not because they're just releasing UFO files, it's the way that it feels that disclosure has become a word that is being almost pushed into the public zeitgeist. For 80 years, the global narratives surrounding unidentified anomalous phenomena have been treated, relatively like a joke. So, and when we were told it was swamp gas or a weather balloon or just, overactive imaginations of people staring too long into the night sky, we were pushed to the fringes as a community. But as of 2 days ago, under the direct, mandate of the Pursue Initiative, the U.S. government dumped its fourth massive tranche of declassified UFO files, 40 new files, 19 raw military and intelligence videos, written logs, audio, censored data from the Pentagon, the CIA, the FBI, and the DOE. And that last one, the Department of Energy, keep your eye on that. We have a heavy hitting panel of creators, former military, and civilian contractors on the deck to help us dissect the absolute best evidence from this drop. We're digging into the 2015 Pantex nuclear weapons facility lockdown, where two security officers actively chased a silent diamond-shaped craft hovering right over our primary nuclear weapons assembly plant. We're analyzing some of the jaw-dropping footage signed debrief of a 28-year military aviation veteran, that was a mouthful, who looked up and basically stared a UAP right in the eyes. He admitted it defied any known technology that was, earthbound or could have been created here on Earth. So we're going to break down all that, some chilling infrared footage. I saw one that there was like a 6-pointed side, so that one really interested me, where it's like a perfect 6-pointed geometric star. And this was tracked by military platforms. And I think this is becoming, why I think it's more important now than ever for people to pay attention is because the government is no longer denying the phenomena. They're kind of attempting to manage your awareness of it. They're dropping it in these rolling stages, and they're forcing us to try to drink from a fire hose of disclosure. And in a world of the 24-hour news cycle, it seems a little pointed that maybe they're expecting this to just come and go. So with that being said, let's introduce the panel of amazing, amazing people. Welcome, salud. I think you guys say in Italian, right?
Yeah, kind of.
No, which one is that?
I think. Yeah, that's it. Salud.
Okay.
Just the nuance of it,
Salud.
You said it like a Maragon.
Wait, what? What's a Maragon?
Maragon, like it's like Italian slang for an American. How they used to say it with the accent, like, "Oh, the guy's Maragon."
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. I thought you were calling me some like slang, like bitch word. Like,
no.
This dude's a
never.
Well, Gene, Mike, Vito, everyone, thank you for being here. What are you guys? I didn't really get a chance to. I was gonna have Gene in person, having a little trouble, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna call in. Lines are open. I linked the entrance in, so anyone can just jump in, give your thoughts. Before we start, what did you guys think of this this fourth tranche of files? Do you think that we are actively moving any needles? It seems like a question we've exhausted and talked about ad nauseum, but do you feel a shift in the paradigm? Gene?
No.
No, just bluntly, no. What do you think is happening and why roll this out like this?
So listen, this is part of, there's an entire structure at work underneath all of this, right? That has nothing to do with anything that's being released or going to be released as far as these pursue documents. These are, the vast majority of there's far more available already on the National Archives sites, right? We're getting, the Pantex thing was legitimately new in so much as it was expanded upon what was in, I think, tranche 2, which was just kind of the cover sheet. So that was good. In so much as the descriptions, it's much more recent. It continues demonstrating the interest of whatever these objects are in our nuclear facilities. So that was good. The one video I was genuinely awed by was the flying pig video, I guess, is sort of what everybody's calling it.
The weird shape thing. I thought it was the one that it does some weird. Okay.
Yeah, that one's good too. It's kind of the black shadow with the red dot, and that red dot could be some kind of signal from them trying to put some targeting or measurement or something like that. It kind of looks like that.
I didn't think of that. Okay.
Yeah, to me, it looks like some of these
was interesting. But what's crazy is we've been seeing except for that one that does that. A lot of these we've been seeing. Like I've seen that odd shaped pig shape thing before. Like I've seen that before.
Yeah,
so people have been leaking the shit out of these things, which is great.
much better quality. As far as those images go, right? So all that being said, how do I stick with my no assessment? Well, again, no analysis of what any of this stuff is and what's been analyzed so far. The discussions, Hal put off, Avi Loeb, Jordan Flowers, these diversions and narrative reframing of, well, we're going to, we need better data. We need to be forward looking. The Dr. Phil aspect of it. All of those things, plus the idea, this is release 4 was the longest interval between releases and had the fewest number of files actually released. So it was it took them the longest amount of time to get out the smallest amount of materials. And out of those materials, I'd say there's 3 things that are better than what we've seen, but still don't do anything to move the needle. Okay. And around this, we have this whole new narrative being formed. That again, I don't think it's so much as to convince the existing community as to provide a framework for the general public just getting introduced to this, but the frameworks that they are going with, I think we should all be very concerned about for a number of reasons.
And that was a point I wanted to get through is, again, is first off, why now? Why this way? And, several other questions that are derivative of those two, but, why, what are we not seeing? Like, what am I missing here? If they're being so open about it, again, it starts to make me think, have they just kind of gone, you know what? Fuck it. They already, most people out there believe that the cosmos are not empty, right? Most people, if you ask them now, like if you took a survey of 100 people and said, are we alone in the universe? 99 probably would say, statistically, even just statistically, it's probably not even possible, let alone probable. You might get the one odd religious zealot in there, but whereas, 75 years ago, you asked that question, it's the exact opposite. So,
why now? So I'll answer you. Why now? Because now is an inflection point where the administration is trying to move forward a number of really big science related objectives that have to, do with getting to the moon and the private space industry. So I think why now? Partly because the controlled narrative of the past has become less manageable. I think the central figures that we see in this have all positioned themselves to benefit from disclosure. So there's a degree of personal interest in which your Jay Strattons, your Hal Putoffs, all of those guys have financial interests in companies that are at the next layer of what's going on, which is the integration layer. So they're advocating for these things to come out because they want to open up the technology for integration. The government somewhat needs to do it because when they start doing a lot of the stuff that they want to do with the moon and Mars and Elon Musk's projects and all of that, they've got a big science gap to suddenly fill. And I think we're going to see this is partly, geared toward filling those knowledge gaps, right? And just from a political standpoint, listen, nobody can argue with transparency. It's a bipartisan issue. But there's a lot more.
What's up, Dan?
Underneath the scene. Oh yeah.
But
Dan, get on the real quick. Dan from Probe, get on the
dude. I'm
accounts and the StreamYard there.
Yeah, come over to YouTube. And then there's actually on X, I also linked it in that stupid reel I made that took me 30 seconds to do. But I was
there's a lot of I think this is motivated by geopolitics. This is motivated by economic incentives.
I like where you're going with that, Gene, and I'll give the reason. They just, Trump can't help himself, right? Trump sees something, he has to blurt it out like somebody with Tourette's. He just can't just blah, 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 you know what I mean? Just red labels. He just can't help himself. He blurted out the medbed thing a few months back and then immediately deleted it. And everyone's like, what the fuck is a medbed, buddy? And now you're hearing all these weird rumors about these things. So I think maybe it could be a technology thing. Maybe it's at the point where like technology is ready to explode past what we have. So we're all kinds of shit. Anti-gravitic, medbed stuff. It could be that. It could be a new number of things. It could be we're in trouble and they have no choice but to release it. I mean, and the reason I say that part is they just dropped Dr. Phil. Like literally what's next? Oprah next week to talk about UFOs. Like this guy's never said shit about aliens, and now all of a sudden he's
this is all gets into that framing the narrative, and for the last couple of months, and
it's almost it's like slowly breaking it in,
and over the last couple of months I'm just starting to get things up and running and publishing a lot of this. The all of the economic signals are there in the undercurrents between China, Russia, and the U.S. And they have been, when we've heard it from people about the reverse engineering race and the silent Cold War and all this and that. And the geopolitics of this are all about obtaining the materials that are needed to do a lot of these
Greenland
to integrate. Yeah, to integrate all these projects. And so, these guys who are all involved in this, again,
Peter Thiel,
all of these advocates that are running around in these organizations, they each have financial interests in companies that right now are really worth no more than the paper that the company is written on. But because of the access and the knowledge, they are positioned to be able to leverage this as soon as they have knowledge that it's going to, it's going to go forward. And, it might be a couple of weeks lead. So there's I'm going to publish there's about 16 indicators that we're going to be looking for, that I think when we see these indicators coming within probably 3 months, is when we're going to get major announcements.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the tube is bursting. I think they have no choice but to release something, and that's why we're getting Dr. Phil. It's really strange that guy is now suddenly being brought up, and he's like, you know what I mean? He's Dr. Phil.
Well, we're getting Dr. Phil because
breaking it to us gently. Like, that's what I'm thinking, dude.
It's not just breaking it to it. Listen, I wrote it somewhere. Dr. Phil knows as much about UAPs as I know about turnip farming in Texas, right?
Right.
But
he's the voice. He's the face.
His good old boy analogies, right? But
right.
Exactly. He's he has an audience.
Look, aliens aren't that bad. They're driving my leg. Like,
yeah, he's a credible. He's a credible figure. His indignation of the government's lied to us for 77 years. That's all. It's all on brand.
Right. Like, dude, come on now. Like,
And
where have you been, buddy?
Yeah, it's all on brand and consistent.
But hold on. How and let me logically ask this. In a world where Dr. Phil and Neil deGrasse Tyson, Avi Loeb, right, being the piece of shit that he is, but Michael Shermer, all these guys, even Michael Shermer, he debated Jesse Michaels on American Alchemy, and I don't even know if I'd call it a debate, so to say, but Jesse likes to put himself in these situations where whatever.
I didn't watch it.
I won't go there. But he did, I will say, he pressed Michael in some of those places where I was actually pretty happy, and Michael even admitted to him, he's like, all right, you got me there. Like, his misconception, like talking about dark matter, specifically dark matter. It's like, we look at dark matter, or physicists and people look at dark matter, right? And that they're saying we have no idea what it is, but they're labeling it as dark matter, something that matter is something we absolutely know what it is. And calling it dark matter is like, assuming so much shit just because we think 90% of the galaxy or the cosmos is being held together by this other shit. We're calling it dark matter, but we don't know what the fuck it is. So he brings that up, and it's like the same thing with UFOs to some degree, when you even thinking about it just on a principle, right? Your mind does this thing where it lends credence to one versus the other. When no one is actually saying unidentified flying objects, we know that they exist, right? We know that they exist. There's uncategorical evidence for it. Elizondo's now saying there's shit on the moon. Like, every day.
Yeah, we just had 3 massive drops about it. Like, there's no denying it now. And Grush just stood on the steps and said the universe is teeming with life. That is fucking huge.
Right.
Huge.
And Fox News is becoming ever more like coast to coast, right? Mm-hmm. It feels like I'm watching, or News Nation or whatever. So I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, whether we like it or not, this thing is shifting. And I know Gene doesn't think so. I see a shift.
Well, and I think we've got to be very cautious between getting excited about things that are said and what's actually happening, and what the actual movements are. And this seems to be, again, it fits a pattern that where the institution is failing and the institution is not delivering, then new outrageous claims occupy the airspace that prevent us from focusing on the institutional failures, and keeps the discussion from being around what's not happening. And again, these things are, you know, strategically timed. Again,
Yep.
the Lou Elizondo, you know, discussion was not for us; it was for Japan. So again, he's trying to,
Oh,
even though they know,
Did you guys
right,
watch that?
we're all going to listen to it and we're going to dissect it. They're tackling a new market, so he's got to give that new market, you know, some exclusives and something to, you know, to rally the crowd and, you know, expand the narrative there,
but
right?
can I ask
And
a
this is what
question
I
about
say,
that?
the whole superstructure above that of the Dr. Phils and Avi Loebs and the rest of them, that narrative is forming very differently. And that narrative is, you know, and it's funny because I don't know, you know, I know I've said it on here that, you know, oh, disclosure coming will be the worst thing in the world to, you know, Jeremy Corbell's, and that if, you know, the White House, as this moves forward, you're going to see the people who are the, you know, the experts and the legacy and you know, the voices of this community are going to drop off. I think the greatest example of that's Stephen Greer. He's totally been sidelined and kicked
Yeah,
to the
where
already.
and
Right?
I'm surprised he isn't making more of a like
Bijou.
more of a beeline to position himself back. It's
He
actually
can't.
strange.
Nobody's letting him in. I don't think that's the
Nobody's
problem.
going to let him in.
Yeah,
It's done.
people are tired of
It's done.
hearing. I briefed the president back in '89. Like people
Yeah,
are tired of
you-
hearing that shit.
it's done. It's irrelevant.
But do you understand that for a very long time, Dr. Greer, whether you hated him or loved him, was one of, if not the top person in the field. So
Because that's all we had. Unfortunately, we didn't know he was full of shit.
of
That's
course,
the truth. I'm sorry.
of course. But you see so Gene's actually vindicated in just this example, right? This example extrapolated out. Look at that. The grifters are going to get shaken loose with the truth because the truth is inherently exclusive, right? It's not inclusive. It's not something that's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? It's the truth, period.
When, if, you know, I mean, and I can write it all up and I can show you, you know, and give it to you. But everything I've talked about over the last, you know, year and 1 month exactly that I've been involved in this. And when I started looking at the structures and the architecture of all this and how it's operating, I've been right about everything I've said in the directions that it'll go. Right. I talked about that controlled disclosure had reached capacity, that we were moving to transition by design. That transition by design would, you know, we would know we were there when we started seeing, you know, our own institutions integrating the issue into it. We're seeing that. The next big sign of transition by design would be our allies beginning to mirror, and we're seeing more and more of that. Right. Japan being the strongest one so far. You know, so that's why I say this isn't, you know, this isn't literally rocket science or UFO science. This is structures and architectures of how secrecy works. And, you know, once you understand that and you start breaking down the incentive structures, then you begin to see, you know, where is this going? Now, none of it answers the fundamental question of, you know, who exactly and what exactly do we have. That's all down deep. But we can definitely say they've got stuff. They know the answers are there. Mm-hmm. And there are other paths Congress could be taking to get there. But in the same way, Congress has been co-opted by the same group and the same circle that is invested in propagating this long enough that they get the inside track, so that they're ultimately able to, you know, to benefit from it.
Agreed. I absolutely, I couldn't agree more. So, I mean, okay, with that being said, Vito, did you have anything else to say before I?
No. I
We haven't heard from Whistling Mike.
Yeah, Whistling
no,
Mike.
I was
He
actually
fell
going to
asleep.
ask if he was there.
He fell asleep.
You know, I'm biting my tongue, but I'm live from Doctor. I'm live from
Mike don't
Doctor
believe none of this
Phil's.
shit.
So that's
Listen. I'm live from Doctor Phil's. I'm looking at the 5th drop because we get early access, and it's the same pile of shit as the 4th is. Right? It's balloons. It's air clutter. I mean, that's gonna kind of be my position today. Is like, I heard something yesterday that just made me shake my head, and it was that now we are pushing the narrative that all these craft are independently made depending on their mission. You know why that was said? Because none of the craft match up. You know, even if you look at stuff like the childhood case where they came down and, you know, remotely through their mental brains were talking, then you go to the one Ariel, then you go to Rendlesham where you have radiation, then you go to the Nimitz where none of those were there. You know, like none of this matches up. You know, in IC work, and I'll let Gene talk a little bit, you see what matches up. You start forming stuff into a circle, what's the same. And because we're just looking at every orb and every shape and all these cameras and it's all NHI, it's got to be right. The narrative is that somehow this is proof. I mean, like, you know, it's kind of getting to me to the point where it's like, where's the craft and bodies? And if they don't have it, we got to really get off this whole orb movement. It's just,
so the only thing that you're going to believe is if it's extraterrestrials, if you get a body, that's the only thing that you're going to.
Well, here's the thing, right?
I don't think those are exclusive.
If you take a craft that has the observer rules, right? We'll say instantaneous acceleration, these sort of things. Guess what you can do? You can find that data link. And what I'm telling you guys is the data link for those craft has never came back to anything other than human technology. So again, a craft, what about these, you know, orbs that we're seeing? What about all this stuff? You know, we're going to get into it a little bit today as we move on, like we probably should here. And I'm going to go through some of these cases and tell you what I know about them. And guess what? It sure the hell ain't NHI orbs that you're seeing. So that's why I kind of just bit my tongue till we get going on the videos.
Yeah. And I'll agree. You know, I mean, I think, again, and I know I've said it myself, you know, in talking about the different, the different shape sizes and all of that. I think there's, you know, again, definitely the logic stream that to be able to say, all right, you know, something is going to be fit for purpose, and whatever the purpose of that object is, you know, would undoubtedly have a different shape or size or what have you. Again, doesn't mean any of it is NHI. And, you know, Mike and I have, you know, spent many hours having these discussions about that, you know, the idea that I think I agree, the vast majority of what we're seeing is probably prosaic, probably belongs to a nation. You know, I think there's certainly, you know, if not unexplained things, unexplained origins out of those. You know, I still hold to, again, the origins ultimately still being sort of beyond Earth at some point, but not everything that we're seeing now.
Fair. I think that's fair. I actually did want to. I actually didn't watch that whole Dr. Phil video. So I think it's only like 2 minutes long. So I have it here. Before we jump into the main file set, let's see what because we talked about this in the group chat, but like I feel like a lot of people forgot that like Dr. Phil was like an Oprah spinoff, and like I don't even think is he a real doctor? Isn't it like kind of like
he was he's not practicing anymore.
I was gonna say, isn't it kind of like a Bill Nye situation though?
Right, exactly.
Like, and he was like a fucking Springer, for Christ's sake. Catch Me Outside, how about that? Like, come on, do you know what I mean? But then he's the face that they walked out of ufology.
Who we're talking about,
right?
True,
he's the guy to bring it out. And so I'm like, there's got to be something weird going on.
I will just say this though:
walking this guy out, some odds going on.
There are degrees you can get in UFOlogy as long as you won't pay enough money. I mean, like, does that make it any better? Right. I mean, like, there's no, you know, I mean, like, I'm not bothered about the fact that he's not a practicing, you know, doctor or psychologist. It's just the idea of like what he is practicing is entertainment.
Right.
Correct.
And here we go.
And
That's
they
my
wheel
problem.
them out there as though we're just going to buy it hook, line, and sinker. And they're just like, okay, now believe this idiot. And they
It
dangle
does
him on a
kind of look
string.
like they polished him up and maybe got his wax figure ready. He's looking odd.
Yeah, he looked extra smooth. Oh, I'm Dr. Phil. Maybe he's an alien.
Oh, that was a good one, man. That fucking made me laugh hard. All right. Woo! All right. Can you hear it? Just let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
You got to push play.
It is. I did.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
See, I
Wait,
had a
hey, it's muted down there. Look on the right. You see the little volume?
Is it muted?
Dr. Phil, look to the right corner, bottom right corner. Is it muted? It looks like it's
Oh
muted.
yeah, good catch, man.
9 years. Hey, it's Dr. Phil here. I'm talking to
hear
you
it?
this morning because me and my team at Envoy Media have
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Shit.
been
Okay.
given
You were looking at
exclusive
the wrong screen, weren't
access
you?
by the White House and the Department of National Intelligence to the new tranche of information about UAPs. You may refer to them as UFOs. And we are very deep into that. Two things have become apparent to me. Number one, I am absolutely furious that our government has been lying to us for at least 79 years, lying to us by omission, I think actually creating some misdirection. That's one thing. Number two, it's very clear that there are objects in our atmosphere here on Earth that are not of Earth. They're doing things, they're moving in ways that we just simply don't have the ability to do. So to me, that's not a question. That is well demonstrated. One of the things that's curious about this, and I think disturbing, is that they seem to be focusing at times around our nuclear facilities as far back as 1949. They actually held a conference about this, hidden from us, the Los Alamos conference.
How did you just
where they
change
brought
where the
in Dr.
positioning of
Lincoln
the logo
LaPaz,
was?
an expert on
He's been changing
meteorites,
it the whole
because they were
time.
trying to say that maybe these are meteorites.
Watch
They were very large green objects.
Don't do
and
that.
He said,
Don't do
foremost
that.
experts said, no, these are not meteors. Meteors don't move horizontally. They don't maintain their
it's
speed.
worse than
And
the
these
bag of
things were
chips.
moving with intention. They were navigating. They were moving. And these have been observed over 5 cities, all having
Right over his
nuclear
face.
facilities. As recently as 2015, they were observed over the Pantex facility in Amarillo, which is a nuclear facility. That should bother you.
Why do you
It
guys think
certainly
community love hearing the
bothers
same
me.
thing
Now,
over and
why
over?
am I
just from a
talking to
different
you
person?
about this? Why me? From a psychological
hear something
standpoint,
different.
this matters. This matters to mankind. It matters to our value systems. What does it mean? What do we say to our children? If there is life that's not human, what does it mean to all of us? We're very deep into this. I'm going to be bringing you more information throughout the day, so stay tuned. We're going to catch you up. I am
So they
gotta-
expected
gotta
this
catch
all
up.
these drops to send people to make them go crazy, and it didn't get the reaction that they thought that it would get. So this is why he's like, this is real. The government is, you know what I mean? Like they brought this guy out to basically walk the everyday
Hey,
idiot.
it's better
through.
than Avi Loeb.
True,
Yeah.
true. And I'm not saying I have a problem with it.
No,
I'm okay
no.
with the everyday man seeing this. I'm okay with the everyday person waking up and going, "Fuck, we're not alone. This is legit." But it's
He
just
brings
so
up-
watching
silly.
Dr. Phil.
But it's
But he
just so
brings.
silly that it's him.
Okay, good point, Mike. Fair enough. I'll give you that one.
What did he
But
say?
he said, "What guy's watching Dr. Phil?" He's got a good point. He's got a good point.
True. Yeah.
But what it really does though is it does reach those mothers who in turn have children. The women of this world, hate it or love it. I know, like the Nick Fuente. Actually, I won't go there. I probably shouldn't go there. Definitely shouldn't go there. Hate it or love it. But
I think your mic switched.
thank you. Good.
Oh.
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
No,
Okay.
it's good.
It went low.
Hate it or love it. Women are they usher in the spark of life. So, and then they hold a very special place to their children. I mean, it's a no-brainer to want to target that demographic with something this big, because
But he's got a lot of old people in that audience too.
of course,
Right?
The
Yeah.
boomers, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
of course, and
It's gonna be on The View next. You'll see. You're gonna see Whoopi and him talking about it.
but
I mean,
again,
it gets weird when old people become the same age as us, though.
This is true. We are old.
Yeah, but I do like what the thought, or at least the idea, and this is something because I've talked about, it's like what the bigger ideas of disclosure might be, and I do think he raises a fair point about like why should this matter, and it should matter because if there is life outside of Earth, right, then that changes something in us where we should see ourselves in the universe, where we don't maybe feel so isolated, right? Like it's kind of weird because right now, I look to the stars and I'm not sure if I see anything looking back, but I think once we truly like know, right? A few of us have had sightings, like we know what we might have saw. I was never abducted. I've never seen a being. So, but once we know that something is actually looking back at us, I think that does fundamentally change. Like you sit down at the table and like, there's not just the sex talk anymore. Now it's hey, there's also fucking things that we don't even understand. Like that talk, the phenomena talk.
But you're right, and that's good. And I mean, you're preaching to the choir on that one for the most part, right? Everybody, everybody gets that.
Yeah.
But what you played was one of, I think, 3 videos that he put out, and there was an interview he did on CNN, and that's where I start having problems with what was said, right? Because he, in those interviews, he talks about, so he does all of that framing, which is great. And listen, love the idea. Luna posted on Instagram, there's going to be other influencers that are coming out and going to be talking about this. And
God, is that what Dr. Phil is now, an influencer?
Right. But the problem is the narrative, right? And when you get past the, bringing all of those existential questions into view and how do we deal with that? What they're saying and what Dr. Phil described was, number one, the credibility, primarily the credibility of the people of that this information is coming out through, right? Which again is good, right? There's a lot of military, there's government officials, highly credible people talking about this. But he prefaces that with people too drunk to, instead of stories from people who are too drunk to fish, right?
Which is a direct shot at Pascagoula, which I actually do hate.
Which is a direct shot at everybody.
That's true.
If we're being honest. Because you've got him saying that, repeating that over and over. We've got Avi Loeb, if you noticed in things Avi Loeb is saying about the, science has to lead the way, that, you can't pay attention to this online community, and all the rest of it. Those are the early shots across the bow. That the way they want this to go is that it is the information that is coming out through the government and through these figures who are former government officials and whistleblowers, who we all have been critical of because of the pre-approved pipeline and what I can say and what I can't say and all the rest of it. And I'm telling you now, listen for it, and everything else that comes out, their goal is to make what comes out from the government the source of truth. And I argued with Joe a little bit about this over X, because we're replacing one form of narrative control with another form of narrative control, right? The system that we've been critical of has not changed, which is what we were looking for. The methods that they're using are changing.
I actually have said this on several occasions. I do think you're tapped into something that is very, very it's like intrinsically a conundrum, right? We are the same entities that have been withholding that very information for 90 plus years are the
He's now
ones
saying,
that
trust me, bro.
well, not just that, but they have people stomping their feet, demanding answers. And the only entities that they are willing to accept answers from are the very ones who, and to see that the dragon eating its tail here,
Right.
it's the dragon eating its tail. All actually, that's right behind me. I wonder. If
So this is what I'm saying. This is why, again, I just caution everybody to tamper their excitement and their enthusiasm over what's happening.
Yep.
Because next thing you know, we're right back where we started, right? And I've talked about it with the Scientific Council, and whether Avi Loeb knows it, realizes it, or ever will realize it. He's a pressure relief valve. That council is a pressure relief valve that, as things move forward, the council will give them the ability to slow the flow by just saying inconclusive data, we need to collect new data, we've got to wait, right? We've just got to wait, we've just got to be patient, all of which is true, but
here's the problem: is Avi doesn't mind being that guy. He
he
actually wants to be that
doesn't.
guy. And that's why they also have people like, you fucking stop moving the thing.
It's on his
stop
face.
putting me in the
It's on
fucking
his face.
top
That's why.
square.
It's literally covering his
oh,
face.
oh.
Let me just jump in real fast on that.
Just
on that
leave
point.
it on that side then. I'm sorry.
That's what he's doing, Dingleberry.
Gene's got a good point here. I think we're doing stuff ass backwards. We're trying to rally the troops and get as many people as we can look at this without the evidence that we need. So the other way around. I mean, you can be a disgraced journalist and you can be a key speaker. You can write a book, and then you can be a disgraced congressman that's got to resign before the investigation comes out, so that isn't released. I mean, and then you can just be welcomed into this community as like you're a hero because you're talking about UFOs. And so we're bringing all these people in with Dr. Phil. The religious sector's coming in because they know nobody in this community needs proof. They just need stories to make money. And what's everybody looking at right now? You're looking at UFOs too big a move, interdimensional portals on National Forest Service land, no proof for any of this shit.
Right. How many species of aliens?
You're counting on one of these drops releasing the proof to all these people we're bringing in. Yay, there ain't a fucking thing coming, so we all look like idiots, and it's going to kill the movement. That's my 2 cents.
And the thing about it is, what are we not talking about, right? So we're not talking about them, what they've done to strip Burleson's amendment. We're not talking about MITRE, whose response was due last Monday. Now I guess they come back from Burleson didn't say they find a lot to talk about while they are on break.
That's who Eskridge worked for, right?
Didn't
she work for MITRE or some shit?
I don't know.
Eskridge,
but that was due on the 6th. The end of June, the 30th, there was supposed to be more Arrow. There was supposed to be a classified Arrow briefing. There was supposed to be another Arrow document that was presented. None of that stuff has come out, and nobody's asking any questions about any of that stuff because now we've got the German wing to look at,
right,
and dissect.
So, are you saying that? Okay, I guess I see where you're both going here. Again, it's the look in the left hand, right? So that you don't see what else I'm doing, but it's the lack of what we're doing over here that is actually the problem.
It's a timeshare scheme. We're
Is
dragging
that
everybody
in
here.
Right.
We're pulling everybody in. Some great deal. You can't go without it. Now we're locking you in a room until you sign the papers. We got nothing to show you.
But was this not inevitable? Was it not? Was this phase? Was it ever going to be this transition period? I feel like transitions are always tough. So was it not always going to be a bit muddy? I mean, I feel like it's a tug of war here.
I don't
Where
think it's a transition. I think it's just you gave the people with the big stories more power and a platform. Here we go. Let's one
Yeah.
up the next guy.
I mean, there's and again, you can call it overly simplistic, but sometimes the beauty is in the things that are overly simplistic, right? What was what's an alternative disclosure path? An alternative disclosure path could have been, could have started with a statement, right? Could have started with there are things we can't explain.
Thank you.
We have through the decades, there have been a number of organizations that have attempted to do it. There are organizations within the government today whose job it is to do that. We are going through all of the documentation we have, and we're going to make that documentation public through a declassification project. And the reason is because there's sensitive data, there's sensitive about our systems and this and that. Okay. But to this point, we have or we have not determined that any of these things pose a direct imminent threat. We need to discern what could potentially be foreign technology from, again, what truly remains anomalous. And we are going to be transparent about that process, and particularly about the things that we know are truly anomalous as we go through this process. And we're going to share that information going forward. And here's the time frames in which we're going to do this. And here's the committee that has been put together that, and who's going to lead this process to ensure that there is transparency and integrity, as we go forward.
That actually doesn't even sound bad to the ears. Like, it's not like for some reason, like, I think everyone thinks about this disclosure moment. Of course, it's like the president. And I feel like everyone secretly sees like either JFK, Barack Obama, someone who's really like well-spoken. Yeah. Coming up to the podium and, my fellow Americans, right, people of the world, delivering a fucking power speech about how we're like in this together. It's like the Independence Day speech, but obviously not being invaded, right? But right. That's
we are going to coordinate with our allies for the information that they have. Blah,
right.
Blah, blah.
It's that pipe dream. Because what Trump, you just said.
Very tall aliens. Very tall aliens coming in.
That's what I said.
Aliens.gov.
We got the best aliens.
A Trump UFO disclosure speech would be hilarious. The highlight of, like, if we really want to prove we're in a simulated reality, that has to happen. Because
hey, Ty, Dan from Probe joined us. I'm gonna bring him up to the stage.
Okay, yeah,
just join in. Welcome, Dan.
A Trump disclosure would be so good because that there would be something in there as a jab to someone or something.
Make aliens great again? Yeah, it's like fucked up to say.
There would be some fucking dumb spin on it that you just wouldn't anticipate.
They're coming down to get Michelle Obama.
Obama to get her.
She's an alien. It's fucking crazy shit.
There would be something in it that would just be utterly ridiculous, and it would just be funny. But beside the point, let's this video. This is one. So this is the United States Department of War's website. This is where they're sharing all the tranches of files. If anyone wants to, if anyone didn't know, I'd be very surprised at that. But it's war.gov/UFO. And then, you can go through everything. But there's this video here. So this is the United States Indo-Pacific Command. They submitted a report of unidentified anomalous phenomena to ARROW, consisting of 18 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2025. Now, I find that part, of course, very interesting because this aspect that everything's like from 2004, that is not the case.
That's what I liked about this one is it's newer stuff, right? Also, we already see a ship like this, another in the earlier ones. This is different, right? This is a totally different video.
I think it is. Now,
Okay.
maybe someone can discern that between the other guys, but real quick,
Probe might be able to.
I want either Mike or Gene, for the plebe, for the normal person, what is an infrared sensor? Why does the video look like this? I think a lot of people have these kind of questions. Maybe we can have a little opportunity to answer them. Why would a military craft not have 4K fucking clear video? Why are they using infrared?
Yeah, so keep in mind, let's just take flying. If you ever go up and fly a plane, you do your flight license. You start by visual, so you would follow basically a highway to the next spot, but really to get your license, they're going to actually put basically a blindfold over the top of your eyes where you can only see your instrument, and you have to get an instrument rating. Weather, fog, just getting kind of dizzy up there, your actual instruments will tell you where you're at. That's what happened to the old JFK Jr. In the storm, right? Where's the horizon? So we have to go with sensors, because sensors will give us the actual scientific, the actual measurement of the altitude, elevation. So now this gets a little confusing because there's things like white hot, black hot. But what you're seeing here is essentially, and there are 4K type of, cameras on gun cameras and different stuff by all means that we haven't seen. But what you're just seeing here is it's probably looking through the night. I don't know what the time is on this one, or the day, or the clouds. And sometimes even in the light, you can't see what's on the other side of the cloud. So this is kind of like the peeking through and seeing it. So what we're seeing is one's hot and one's not, which creates either the grayish or the dark black.
It's essentially a thermal imaging camera, which is what we use in a fire service to see through smoke. So you can't see a fucking thing in a fire. Structure fire, you can't see it.
So in this video, black is hot, or black is the environment is white. So the environment around it is the lighter color.
Yeah,
the object is, so they can switch that though, like we've seen in many videos.
Of course, yeah. And just real quick on this, because this is kind of a misconception. It's not actually heat. You're picking up as radiation, which sounds scary, but radiation is the physics of molecules moving in your body, which would create what you think is heat. So what we're actually looking at is radiation, which does make the physics part of it a little more manageable of what you're seeing and not seeing. But that may come up later in these videos where there is cheap cameras that just simply pick up heat. They're pretty shitty. You don't get a clear photo. But when you get something more clear like this, like look at the lines, that's going to be a high dollar one picking up radiation.
Yeah. I find this one. So we'll hit play. It's only 15 seconds. You can see it's
So yeah, that's totally different than the other thing. The other thing was more,
spiky.
Yeah, that good way of putting it, for sure. Absolutely. I wonder if they're linked in some way, shape, or form. But even still, what the fuck is that? Like, we don't have anything that looks like that to my knowledge. What is that?
What do you think? I gotta ask, what's that black? Why black out whatever that is next to it? Because what could that possibly be?
It might be they might be measuring it.
Yeah, size.
How big it is.
Yep.
Yeah, the size of the object. So
that's definitely a targeting reticle. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask, could something be there that they were like, no, they can't see that part.
There's a lot of things that could be.
No, that's writing for sure.
But again, I think there's a need for it to be blocked out. I don't think it's something where if we had the answer, we'd say, oh, got him. It's
Okay. So this is, you know what, I will say, whether this is like some sort of drone technology that is being deployed or put that aside for a second. What I do find interesting about these kind of sightings is almost like the religious symbology your head immediately jumps to. And if this is what they are saying it is, or not even what they're saying it is, but if this was non-human, if this thing is non-human, and that one that Vito's talking about from the earlier file, if those are non-human vehicles, and it's weird how it sparks this, there's a cross right there.
And we've seen it in artwork throughout religious artwork, all throughout the Bible's history. You see it all throughout religious paintings. Those shapes.
Is that not what could have been seen to
for sure
to then say, look, there's God. This is the symbol of God. Fucking cross.
Right.
right,
Now you're not saying that that's Jesus, but for sure that
No,
could listen,
no.
aliens could have been mistaken as for sure as
That's
gods
more
back in the
like-
day. Absolutely.
That's
It's
all I'm
kind of one of them
saying.
things. So I want to like repeat back to you guys what you just said, because that's how you tell somebody they're crazy. You guys just said somehow this is related to aliens,
No,
God, across. Let me tell you
No.
what it's not. It's not 5-foot lizards. It's not Nordics. It's not the CIA hunting crossbreeds on 23andMe. It's none of that bullshit. It's some fucking space junk. And it's got some floats out you can see because the cross and the X and everything else extend. This is a fucking surveillance balloon that floated in. Also, keep in mind that Arrow released this because they saw this one. This is not the 2 or 3%. Arrow doesn't know what they are. Right now, Arrow's laughing their ass off because they've got exactly what piece of styrofoam or whatever the fuck it is that floated over. And they're letting us do this shit, and they're going to let us do this shit for a whole year.
Right.
What,
It's funny because I thought about it the other day, another show. I mean, they're 3 hours in, analyzing videos, and it could be this, it could be, and I just sit there thinking to myself, like, people who work on these videos for countless hours don't know what it is. Right? People who are trained experts, and they have the benefit of all of the data, can't exactly discern what it is. Why do we think we're going to?
Because it's aliens.
I
mean, so you're just so anti-alien. It's fucking hilarious.
No,
what the fuck is that? Yeah, Mike, tell me what that is, Mike. What is that, Mike?
Source.
That's a balloon. You can see the string coming down, Vito.
Your asshole's a balloon.
No, but I actually do see the balloon.
No, I
What's that thing with wings flapping? Oh, it's a Nordic. It's a bird.
No, but
man.
what is it?
Fuck.
Hold on.
What is it?
It's a red balloon.
Zoom in on it. Can we zoom in on?
No, I don't have that movie technology where you could just box it and make it bigger.
Zoom in and amplify to 20 megahertz.
Yeah. The bad guys always have that technology.
Bring it up on the hologram.
They do it on TV.
They fucking grab, and somehow it's the no pixelation, no pixel increase or decrease in quality. I will say this one does.
No, but what are they claiming it is in the writing? What are they?
Look, man, I released that in 3rd grade in school. We all went out and released red balloons with a little thing on it. Where if you
there goes Mike. Mike's balloon he lost.
Back. That's what the hell it is. Still flying.
Mike lost his balloon at 8. He's still never letting it go. That's his balloon right there floating away.
Are you like all joking aside?
He had it for 30 seconds.
Please, all joking aside.
What is that?
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Well, that's the thing I think about some of these videos is that there are points where there's, interference. I think some of these, it's the interference that becomes more anomalous than the objects themselves.
Is this just a cloud cover or is this it trying to reestablish? What I'm asking is,
did it zoom out or glitch?
If you saw that thing, if you're the guy, if you're in the targeting pod, right, you're the guy controlling this camera and you see that thing, whatever it is, you call it a balloon, whatever it is. Why, if it's so easily identifiable, why is there a 5-minute video of a fucking balloon? Do you have to just videotape everything you see out there for data collection? And is that his job? Like, hey, shit, something's there. Doesn't matter what it is, get eyes on it so we can.
So to answer that question, you would need Logan because that's literally what he would do.
Logan would be a good guy, but let's just go back to what we do know.
I'm saying he'd be great to have on the show.
And one of the things that has been said over and over, whether you like Kirkpatrick or not, is that people would send in things and say it's probably a balloon. And he said this in an interview, so is everybody else. And they say, well, then why the hell did you send it in? They research it. They spend 6 months on it. It's a balloon. What do you think Arrow's going to release, that 2 or 3% to us? This is what we're seeing here. This is one that came in, probably thought it was a balloon. Now here we are, the whole world's NHI. It's so simple. It's a balloon.
And to your question of, why are they going to track it for 5 minutes? Well, again, assuming that there's, military operations going on in the area, it's something that's unexpected. Okay. So they want to identify it, and they might be running it through several sets of eyes. Is this one of ours? Is this something that we know about, from a country nearby? What other ships are in the area? What other, they're trying to gather information and track this thing to, identify, friend or foe. Is it potentially a threat?
See, I'm okay with a 5-minute clip. I'm not okay with an 18-second clip. I think that's stupid because it shows you nothing. They filmed it longer than 18 seconds. Show us
That's a
the
good
length of what
point.
they filmed it for.
That's actually a good point.
Hey, who's this guy? Hey, where'd Probe go?
That's actually a good point that Vito
he-
raises.
What up, Gino?
Dropped off because nobody talked to him.
I'm sorry.
He dropped off because Vito keeps calling him Probe instead of Dan.
Well, I didn't want to call him Dan because I didn't know if I'd say his name. I don't know if he wants his name out there. That's why.
I didn't even know. I'm sorry if he comes back. He was.
What's up, Gino?
He's free to jump in at any time.
Yeah, please, dude.
Like
Dan is awesome.
talk.
And this is the guy to speak to because he archives all of it. Like so that's what I was gonna say, but I wouldn't shut up. I'm sorry. Probed. If anybody doesn't know who Probed is, go to his site on X. It's awesome. You can search everything by keyword and it'll all pop up. You can search a bunch of different UFO topics. His site is amazing.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's really cool. Hey, what's up, Gino?
Hey, Vito, I think he actually said his name on your show, so Dan should be all right. But yeah, hey, Gino,
Did he?
welcome,
Okay.
man.
I
We're
wasn't
looking at
sure.
videos of balloons and
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we're looking at videos of Mike's asshole.
I'm sorry. I do believe a lot of this is balloons. A lot of what especially
This one looks old school. This looks old school, huh? Why does this look like it's from like 18? I mean, not 18.
Let Gino finish.
No, as soon as Gino said balloons, he's getting cut off.
Yeah.
No, this is the best podcast ever. The one that you showed previous to this, it just to me it was showing something hot, but the geometric pattern in it is what happens with all cameras when you're showing something that is very bright or hot. So I didn't see anything that in that last one that showed anything anomalous to me.
Talking about the star-shaped one or the
star-shaped one. Yeah, that's what happens to a camera.
It needs to be
Are you
longer.
sure that wasn't aliens displaying the cross to think that they were God? Because that's what
Could be.
Vito thought.
That's not what I said. I said I could see how people from back in the day could mistake the aliens for God. Like when you see that in the sky, that's the same shit you see in religious paintings. You see that thing, dude. That's in every religious painting you've ever seen ever. Like that weird star-shaped thing.
And I think
never seen
that's
a balloon in a
why-
religious
but-
painting.
But that's what I'm
hold on.
saying. It's depicted in religious pictures, paintings, drawings, the
Name
Bible.
'em.
There's no
all that
balloons in the Last Dinner
Name
painting, Vito. Quit saying that.
There's
It's in the Last Supper.
It's not in the Last Supper. It's not in any of Caravaggio's.
But it is, but it does track with what you're saying.
Yeah.
With it's a combination of what Mike said and what Gino just brought up. So it's almost like a flare, but it's a radial flare. So you're seeing the hotness because it's not an actual image, like Mike said, which is why I prefaced it by asking someone what infrared is. So you're not always getting a clean image of what that actually represents the object. What we're seeing is the radiation. So that radiation's then being picked up by the camera, and then the camera's doing the flare part where it then gives it that geometric shape or doubling down of shapes, right? It kind of like it will radiate essentially. So it does make sense. I see what you guys are saying. Of course, I'm simply, and I did say, put that part aside. If it's a balloon aside. Is it not that your head does just kind of go there when you see a shape like that? Isn't that interesting? How even when light, when you look up at the sun, right? Sometimes it will flare itself into a cross. I find that to be interesting that people worshiped the sun as a god. And you see this common kind of symbology in things. And whether it's pareidolia or not, there's a reason we have pareidolia. It's because that stuff looks familiar to us. So when we see a military video of said image that it gives that star, I forgive me if I get a little excited. Of course,
You are forgiven, son.
Right. What you guys.
Well, I do think a lot of what you guys are looking at is balloons.
What a tie. Did he fall?
You fucking piece of shit. he like priested me if no one got the joke.
I didn't hear it. Oh, I posted the religious paintings with UFOs in the chat.
That was the best.
I don't want to post. I want you to name them.
I don't fucking
This
know
one-
the names of them. Starry
Well,
Night. I don't know the names
I
of
mean,
them.
I want to know
for
your
all
art
we
history.
know, yeah,
Just
for
put it
all
in,
we
I don't know that.
know, we can go on and on about it. Ty, what do you
No.
got for the next one, brother?
The paintings he's talking about are like the you know when she's holding Jesus up. What's that one called? It's like the
Holding Jesus up.
christening of
Mary-
Jesus or
Mary
whatever.
holding Jesus up.
I'm not good with religion, but there's a bunch of paintings where you see like fucking
You see
circle-
UFOs?
Yeah,
I know. I
Yeah.
just want to see you struggle with
He's
it.
just breaking my balls. He's just trying to get me to show that I'm stupid.
but this one looks older. Is it just me, or does this look older? And or is this from like one of those like hub?
I can't even tell where the UFO is. That's first of all.
Is this a HUD display of some sort?
Could be.
I mean, you know how it is. Like we go back to when the Spy One came out, and they had to redo all that equipment for the.
I mean,
Nimitz.
look-
I mean, this
You're
is
telling
probably
me
The
that's-
the file will tell you when it was taken.
yeah. It may not necessarily be older, but the equipment's older, or probably something from a helicopter or something not as high tech as the F-35 or something.
Wait, so is it the
That's
thing that's
strange.
right in the middle there? What are we looking at? I can't
Yeah,
tell where
right
that.
there, right?
You're looking
white
at
thing,
a
right?
interdimensional portal on National
Yes,
Forest Service
of
land
Jesus.
that's guarded.
Okay, but you have to admit this one.
Oh,
does
wait.
look
Was it the
more
thing that just flew by?
interesting.
It was the black things. The thing in the center is
Okay.
the orientation of the aircraft.
And now it's turning. All right, the black thing that just went because I'm looking at a slideshow here. You guys got a slideshow, right? It's not
No,
playing
this is
smoothly, right?
no, yeah, because there's so much like traffic to this website that it's been
Okay.
lagging over the past like
All
week.
right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was that or if it was the.
Yeah, I actually thought that thing in the middle was. But now
yeah.
it makes
No, but
sense.
it's the two black things that go
Yeah,
screaming.
that's
across
the
middle.
orientation of the craft.
Yeah,
Oh.
it goes literally across the middle from the 35 to the 25 from the top right to the left.
Okay, all right. That video sucked anyway, though, much like they all probably do.
2022.
It was right there, that thing in the middle. Oops, shit.
So this is the Gulf. I like how they labeled it Gulf of America.
They're fucked up. See?
No, they renamed it. to
No,
Gulf
I
of
know.
America, but
It's fucked
They
up.
fucking they.
I know.
They just
petty.
stripping. So I don't really want to go through all of these, but Jesus Christ.
Here's how I feel about everything that's been released so far, and especially this one. You know, I forgot who it was.
Who's that?
It might have been Ty that mentioned it earlier. Oh no, it was Gene that said, "What makes us think that we're gonna figure out what these are when they couldn't?" Well, that's because they're just skimming off the top all of the videos that don't matter. So they're not there. There's a lot of videos that matter that we're not at yet. I mean, we're talking about thousands of videos and evidence. So we're only getting what's being released easily. So you should expect that a lot of them are going to be balloons. A lot of them are going to be stuff that you're like, yeah, this is nothing. That's a lens flare. That's what
I agree with Mike. I want to see the bodies. Enough already.
I don't see anything in this image.
That's
but
from the NASA.
I think that's why I looked at it, but I think Gino's right. I think that's definitely the case. Is I think they're unloading.
What is it? That little thing right there? The little
Yes.
triangle? Okay.
Well,
No,
if it's
that looks
if it's-
very similar to the Black Knight satellite,
For sure.
Yeah, the white line. Right.
oh shit, wait a second.
but it is turning. That is
It
a difference of orientation at the Black Light satellite.
Hold on. This is a video or a screenshot? There's a
See,
video, right?
these are pictures,
Okay.
but then it's gone. Oh wait,
No,
right
it's there. It's right there.
It's fucking there, dude. Wait, that's actually.
That's a cell phone camera taken through a fucking screen. That's pretty cool. I like that. You know what I mean?
What is this? Dear Commander, whatever. Furnished Harrow. What the fuck does this say? Furnished herewith is a transcript of the minute of
Conference.
the conference held at Los Alamos, February 16th, 1949, pertaining to aerial phenomena. I find that to be so. Los Alamos talking about in 1949 pertaining to aerial phenomena. What do you guys think they were talking about?
Well, that's a. I mean,
Balloons.
that's a pretty good. It's a transcript, so it's all of the notes. Hynek is in there. What's his name? The guy that.
So this was a private, much like the Saul conference today. This is almost like a privatized version of that in the military.
Well, at Los Alamos. So
at Los Alamos in 1949.
Right. So they have a bunch of brilliant minds involved in nuclear science, and
so
Hynek sitting around the table trying to postulate what this stuff might be.
So,
and that's what they and they had talked about, in that other picture, the German aircraft, that was the brothers there were working on at the end of World War II that never made it into the Nazi inventory. They're just sort of examining all of the possibilities.
Gotcha.
German aircraft, you mean the Glocke?
It wasn't the Horton brothers, begins with an H.
Yeah, the Horton.
Why does that look like
that's separate than the Glocke.
Yeah, that one there. That's the aircraft.
So this is what. So what am I looking at here? That's what that is.
Yeah, so that's
right.
That's one of the first iterations of a winged aircraft. A wing aircraft that these German brothers had created in Germany through the 1940s, but it just never, it never made it into action.
Well, that's very interesting. Either because now hear me out on this. Of course, I feel like I'm going to get made fun of again, but do you think they're not either trying to recreate by virtue of some sort of sighting of, because this looks similar to like what Kenneth Arnold would describe, right? Is if
I get where you're going, and
so
listen,
we know that they were very. I'm just trying to put words to where my mind's going when I see something like this, because that looks exactly like what bunch of people describe this Batwing thing. So do these brothers not try to take
those reports
and then recreate based on what they had available to them? I don't find that so out of realm of possibilities, because then why would it be fucking confidential for so long?
No, and listen, I've always said that when we really think about it, right?
There's no doubt that that's fucking not alien.
Right. What scientific development has not come from its origins being something that was observed and somebody started questioning it, right? And someone started questioning, well, now that we've observed it, what can we do with it? You can go through that whole sort of cycle, right? So the idea that, why? Because when they talk about, things in the air in the 1800s, 60s, right? So something was observed that made people start sitting down, writing about it, and being like, well, what
drawing it
and what could it be? And
I don't care for the argument that every single thing is a fucking balloon, because and again, I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody.
No, it's that everything that we're being shown is a balloon.
It's funny. If I didn't know how much Mike hated Arrow, I think he worked for them, but he called it a
hey, shut up! I ain't cashed my check this month yet.
It's fucking guy.
So,
little we know, he's what's his face, his fucking underling. He's like the junior.
I gotta ask you guys about this. What do you make of? Obviously, we've heard stories from guys like Carl Wolf about structures on the moon. We've heard from a few other people, Mike Barra. I feel like I'm missing a big one. But now Lou Elizondo is talking about this. The Apollo missions, I've seen them a couple times come up in these files. Do do you give any credence to this idea? I know we talked about it earlier, but I know Gino's here.
I thought it was a big deal. You fuckers roasted me in the group chat about it. Like the greatest thing ever. They literally ripped me apart in the group chat. These fucks. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Molly, they're like, yeah, get bent, retard. Like they fucking ripped me to pieces. Rip me to pieces.
Like I said, I just don't find. Listen, is it interesting?
It's amazing.
Yeah, of course,
it's amazing. Structures on the moon, dude. That's amazing. If it's true, it's legit. Like that's
if
okay.
If it's true, yes, it's amazing. The fact that somebody said it doesn't make it amazing.
And the word monolith does not mean it's built by hands.
True,
Right.
But he did say right-angled buildings that appear to be built. That appear to be created. That's what he said.
He said monoliths with right angles.
Yes, but he said that they didn't see him. Do we have the quote or no? Because he said something about it.
Where's the Pantex shit?
You were looking at it at the other thing, weren't you?
Pantex. No, where's Pantex?
Just do a search up top.
You throw a
search. Now the thing is, we've been talking about monoliths on the moon and Phobos for years, though.
You guys did a video
so
on
that's what I wanted to hear. What do you mean, no results?
No, you went to the wrong search bar.
It goes back to Puhoff, doesn't it? He said there was an alien base on the dark side of the moon. I mean, we can go way back on some of these stupid claims, but I mean, again, how we know it's not the Chinese? They landed on the dark side of the moon. Maybe that's their antenna.
Could be.
What other search bar is there?
Go down. Right below, right before where the files begin.
They make this very easy to.
Okay, stop.
Right there.
Now, there you go.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. So, okay, you guys can continue. I'm sorry.
That's basically Wardex from the movie, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
We were just saying Vito's an idiot for coming up with that. Go ahead, let's watch
this video. Fucking balloons. He sees balloons everywhere in his sleep.
Okay, I'm on. So this is. Oh, hey, what do we got here? So this file contains imagery and a report documenting the circumstances surrounding a September 1st, 2015 incident involving an unidentified object. And I can see it. I'll zoom into it in a minute. But I've been saying this for a long time on the show, that nuclear facilities, before I even read into this, nuclear facilities are consistently being either shut down or interfered with by these orbs that are usually reddish or orange or yellow in color, and they're breaching our most sensitive facilities, and that's exactly what it looks like again here by what I'm seeing. At least it's consistent. It's an orb shape, and this is. I asked Gene before the show. I said, "What is Pantex?" And he said, "It's a place that they don't really like to make headlines. This is where the maintenance, the creation, the destruction, and the upkeep of our nuclear arsenal is. This is the most influential. So if anything breaches this airspace, it is not just a threat, it is an existential threat. It's not just a, oh shit, guys, we have a problem. It's an existential threat. I mean, this case. So I'd be very interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, especially given Gene's involvement in the nuclear armament and the national security of the country. But so this is an intruder over Pantex plant near Amarillo, Texas. The plant is a very sensitive national security site that contains a primary facility for assembly, disassembly, maintenance, and life extension of nuclear weapons. Page 5 and 6 of this report were originally released under Pursue Initiative in a more redacted form on May 22nd, 2026. See, it tells you the reference file here. But there's another file here. I think it's this one.
Yeah, so they're saying that happened. This happened in May? Or this was
2015.
2015. Thank you.
Yeah, 2015. It was a triangle shaped craft.
So this is Gene's question, because Gene was Yankee White. So Gene, I'm just going to shut up, let Gene talk here.
Now, hold on. Before that, so I did do a little digging. So I just want to. So the timeline of the incident is on September 1st, 2015, an unidentified anomalous object actively bypassed the facility's outer security perimeter and entered restricted airspace. So the intrusion immediately triggered an automated alarm system, plunging, the whole base and the whole nuclear weapons plant into a full-scale emergency lockdown. As personnel hunkered down, 2 heavily armed Pantech security officers were dispatched into a tactical vehicle to intercept and identify the intruder. Visual contact were that the officers visualized the object, but quickly realized that their vehicles could not keep pace with or catch up to the craft. They stopped their vehicle, stepped out into the open, and pulled out high-powered binoculars to conduct a detailed assessment. According to the official witness statements of those security personnel and their logs, which have now been unsealed in Batch 4, the officers gave an incredibly precise geometric description of the craft. It was described as a distinct diamond. Oh, it is a diamond, so that's interesting. Diamond-shaped object featuring a noticeably rounded top. The dimensions it was relatively compact, estimated to be a roughly 4 feet tall and 2 feet wide at its base. Kind of sounds like the Rendlesham one. It was it was moving deliberately and slowly, coasting at an estimated speed of around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Interestingly, the witnesses described the color varied slightly on its exterior. Some logs describe the craft as flat absorbing black, which is like that absence of light rather than just a black hue. While another entry noted that it appeared just as a reflective silver with distinct red and blue hues. That's a very, very different. Those are 2 very different things. So that's interesting. I think what the most interesting part of this is the no propulsion paradox. The craft is said to have hovered completely silently in place over a restricted nuclear site for either 1 to 2 minutes. Then, without tilting, revving, showing any aerodynamic exhaust, it simply began drifting due north. Of course, this sounds balloony, but I don't know if I dig that on this one. So it did smoothly exit the facility's restricted airspace, and then it vanished off-site. What do you guys take of this? I mean, do you think this is a hobbyist drone? I don't think that that's even possible. You can't even fly into a fucking airport with a hobby drone. It stops you from doing it, let alone the heart of America's nuclear arsenal.
How big did they say this thing was exactly? They said it was small, right?
4 feet wide. 4 feet, 4 feet, and then 2 feet wide. So again, it kind of gives it, and then triangular with a rounded top. It really brings that imagery of the Rendlesham craft, or at least how they described it.
Well, before I hand this off to Gene, because like I said, he was Yankee White, should go first. I just want to kind of give everybody an update here, which is that concept of your drone not letting you fly is not accurate anymore. DJI actually pissed off the U.S. government, and they took those off of their system. So, those are implemented essentially by your actual drone maker. So, even if you buy a cheap drone off Amazon, they don't have them on it. So, not that I've got a different spin on that, but just so we're kind of accurate on this.
Did they have that ability in 2015 and that tech in 2015? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, if you're
I'll go over my own spiel what I think it is. But like I said, Gene, this was Gene's heyday.
If you were a Yankee
White parents, let's let him go.
Yeah, I do want to. I'm sorry, Gene. But one last thing. If I was a Chinese operative, I would build one. If that's the case, I thought it was something the U.S. government implemented onto it and was like some barrier that they created. I didn't know China was so they could just switch that fucking shit off, hand it to their boy, and be like, "Hey, we need you to do some flights."
Yeah, it's less than that. So if you're a Chinese operative, you're not going to be flying a DJI from Walmart. You're going to be 3D printing. You can put these together yourself. You can
and that wouldn't happen.
Right. You can even go onto YouTube right now and figure out how to turn off your navigating lights if you want to go. I mean, it's all sorts of shit. So that's kind of, it's 2026, right? I mean,
I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right, Gene, you are Yankee White. Let's go. What, this is Pantex. This is the heart of the United States' strategic military, nuclear armament.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing about it is, there's no real capacity to shoot these things down, right? These facilities generally don't have air defense systems. But again, what I found kind of interesting when I read the report was it talked about that it had picked it up on radar. That was the first indication, and then that's when they started locking things down, and when the they secured. They dispatched security forces to secure the main assets, and then they had the patrol go out and try and chase this thing down. So, I mean, that's all sort of standard operating procedure. I think, again, the significance of this really is, number one, it's DOE related, right? And we know that if there's anything hidden, that's hidden in DOE. So it's kind of a good thing to see some stuff come out from there.
I agree.
It's, very, it's a good report in so much as it sort of has all of the elements of the photo, the security response. It's got a good timeline. It paints a very thorough picture of an incident, let's say. We don't, again, have any indication that it interfered with any of the security operations, or this isn't a place that they're launching nukes from, right? So you don't have sort of the Malmstrom or the launch facility issues of things shutting down. This is them putting stuff together and disassembling stuff and getting rid of materials. They probably, again, just have the vault systems and things like that. That would be what you'd be interested to know. Did any of the security equipment around the vaults where the nukes are kept, was there any interference with those, which the report doesn't indicate. And then it just gives some insights into the whole reporting chain from the facility on the ground through the National Nuclear Security Agency, which again just operates under the DOE. And I don't know if a whole lot of people are really familiar with the NNSA. A lot of old Air Force cops go to work there, so it's kind of becomes one of the, particularly if you spend a lot of your career out in the missile fields, you usually wind up either there or the U.S. Marshals.
Gotcha. Did he leave again?
Who's that?
The other guy. He popped in. I was going to say hi to him before. But okay. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, there's definitely no interference here that we know of. No tampering with the weapon systems, no forcing weapons to go online, no forcing them offline. It's just something that's seen above the facility that thrusts the facility into a shutdown.
Yeah, and again, with it being 2015, some of the research I've been researching for a while, the nuclear incursions, and actually noticed this pattern, after Chernobyl, prior to Chernobyl, there were a lot of reports when the reports came in, there were a lot of reports of interference with the systems. After Chernobyl, the reports mainly seem to be around observation. I think there was a later it was either Malmstrom again or Montana. There's like a 2006 incident over a nuclear base where there was some interference, but there seemed to be a drop off, and the reports were much more observational in nature. And so, my thesis, the question I always wondered was either A, were the shutdowns and the technology failures that were associated with the appearance of these craft actually interference of the craft operating, the craft trying to extract or tap into our systems and was causing things to go offline or come online or send false messages, sort of, a Wi-Fi Bluetooth mismatch, so to speak. Or had we actually developed preventative technologies that kept that from happening, which meant, to Whistle and Mike's points, that at some point we were able to identify the signals of these craft and create countermeasures for them.
Okay.
And this is why I say that's what becomes the problem with putting a Bob Salas or having any congressional testimony involving UFOs over nukes, because those become the inevitable questions that need to be asked and the inevitable answers that nobody would want to give, because it would indicate that you know what this craft is, or you have picked up signals from the craft. And it's not just a U.S. discussion at that point, because we are responsible for nukes around the world, in so much as we are the custodians of NATO's nuclear assets. They go by our standards and our protocols and everything like that. So if it's brought up in the U.S. and they say, oh, there's, UFOs over nukes and nobody knows what to do about it, and that starts getting asked in Congress and nobody can give any answers, then you're going to have the allies be like, well, how do we know that, the nukes in our nations are safe, right? You're going to have Germany up the U.S.'s ass about, well, how, these are on German soil. You need to tell us how can you guarantee that one of these objects can't, cause a catastrophic, a broken arrow or a bent spear.
Right.
Add some stuff. So I'm surprised that this video came out specifically, or these pictures, because say we are, how big could that base be, or that facility? 1,000 acres or 100 acres, whatever. Pick your number. It doesn't matter.
Like miles.
So we should be able to have access and control of that airspace over that base, but not only over that base, but around it. So what happens here? What are we pointing out? That something came in and we weren't able to scramble fast enough? I mean, when we had a balloon in Alaska, we went up there and shot it with nets and brought it down. How come we couldn't do the same thing to this? We should be able to. This is showing this is showing a big hole in what we can and can't do. There's no reason we shouldn't have this facility guarded by air in the air. I mean, there should be able to be a scramble. So with instruments, and maybe Gene could answer this. So we're detecting these things over.
They should have seen it. They should have seen this thing miles out.
Where are we losing it, and why are we losing it? Because once it's detected, we should be scrambling something. A helicopter, I don't care what it is. We're a drone on its own. Of course, we're talking 10 years ago, so that would have been a little bit harder. But we should have been able to scramble something in the air to find it, unless it had some other anomalous activity that we're not being told right here. How did it get away? How did it get away?
So they said they couldn't keep up with it. Didn't they say they couldn't keep up with it or something like that? Or that was with the vehicle on the ground?
Yeah, that's
so that's what I mean.
It's almost lying by omission. They're
right. So there's no way that you can, exactly what Gino said. There's no way this thing is getting within 10 miles of there and they don't see it, know what it is, have it spec'd out.
And just
clearance. What's the clearance for live fire over a nuclear base?
And why wouldn't we shoot?
Well,
and that place specifically, there should have been something.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing with that. So again, in the Air Force, and when you're dealing with nukes, the use of the parameters for the use of deadly force are a lot thinner than in general, right? And that being said, the use of deadly force, the discharge of firearms near nukes is the last thing you want to do, right? Right. They don't want any kind of discharges in those areas. So yeah, we're generally and you have to, and ultimately you have to get permission. Your officer in charge is the one who's going to make that determination of you're going to try and shoot something down. So obviously you don't want to try and shoot something down if it's going to land in the facility, if it's going to potentially cause, any kind of incident, involving the assets themselves, if you're not able to control all of those factors. But to Gino's point about, what's around there. So, Amarillo, Texas, the only active U.S. Air Force base is Cannon Air Force Base in Clovis, New Mexico, which is 112 miles southwest of Amarillo. And then there is Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas, located 228 miles to the southeast.
Now that's to my point. So if we can't protect this, why are we letting out the information that we can't protect it?
So
and this was headed what'd they say, north?
You're telling me that this base or whatever this thing is doesn't have
roughly
the capability for a plane to take off and defend it? I find that impossible. There's got to be something.
There's no private runway like a CIA.
Right. There's got to be. If this base is what Ty says it is, there's got to be defenses, some way, shape, or form. Something's got to be.
Yeah. Are we under the impression that nothing was Are we going to buy that no jet was scrambled on this incident?
I call bullshit. For sure.
I kind of
guys, you're overthinking it, right? So. Okay. Again, there's a nuclear plant, Wolf Creek, here in Kansas, and they actually divvy out tickets every year in a raffle because the water is warm that's used to cool it, and we have tropical species in there to fish. That's your fucking security, guys. Like you're overthinking this. You're thinking this is an interdimensional portal guarded on Forest Service land or some shit.
Portal,
right? So,
but there's something still.
But listen to this, man. Listen to this. So our special forces just put out a raise a request for proposal for a radar system to pick up drones that you can't see. So we sure the hell couldn't find them in 2015. It's harder to shoot down a drone than you think. And if the lights go off, nothing can catch it. This, like Gina was saying, it really is a matter of why did they admit we're caught with our pants down? But there's no defense against this. So do you shoot it down or do you just let it float off like it did? We just let it float off like we did, like all these videos.
Yeah.
And
the facility itself, the facility itself is 16,000 acres. It doesn't have an airfield.
But Gene, the bases you mentioned are still close enough. The bases you mentioned that seem far, they're still close enough by air. You're covering that distance so quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so it's not like those bases are too far to scramble someone. Maybe they're too far to scramble a helicopter, but not a jet. They could have been on top of it easily. However, also there should be some kind of communication with other law enforcement. If they can't catch it with their Jeep, they should be calling ahead to every law enforcement saying, hey, be on the lookout for this thing in the air. We got to keep track of it.
Which they did. So I guess, they did. They did have contact the sheriff's office. The sheriff met them, but it was gone by the time the sheriff got there.
Yeah, just again, guys, this happened in 2015, and then look at how much further Langley happened. So what did we do in that time over a nuclear and Langley? Not a fucking thing. That's how the government works. It's unfortunate to say it. Where are we at now? Nowhere.
But why? Why did the government do nothing over Langley? Why?
It's almost like they know that they can't do anything.
Right. That's my
point. Didn't prepare from this to Langley. We're still not prepared. We have some paperwork that went through from Cotton and Gillibrand that said we can shoot things down. But again, we have no defense. And this is the whole point of it. This isn't NHI. This is other countries letting us know that if a war starts, the war will not be in Taiwan. For us versus China, all they'll do is hit us here. They've already shown they can throw drones, 500 incidents last year over sensitive sites. You knock out a couple planes on the airways. You don't have to put a nuke over anymore. Now what you do is you target things like the nuclear facilities already in the country. You poison the air, you poison the ground, you poison the water. Like times have changed. And It has nothing to do with aliens, and we are way, way behind.
Well, okay. If oh God, that's. I mean, that I do see the point. I do. Warfare is definitely changed, and it's not. It's not the world. It's not going to be world. If World War III breaks out, I don't think anyone thought it was going to be fought the same way World War II was, right? Like in the trenches. No, this will be some sort of.
You don't want to be in a tanker and aircraft carrier this war. You're done.
Has any other a foreign country put out that they've had UAPs over their nuclear facilities?
It's a good question.
I know
I'm pretty
U.S.
sure.
facilities and others, like in Australia and different places have reported, but I don't know about necessarily Gino, an actual country, their own assets saying that they've had it. I think England or the UK had some issues.
I know the drone swarms were reported everywhere. That much I know. It's Dan from Probed here, right? On the bottom.
Well, also Rendlesham was Rendlesham was a nuclear facility. They just, so we know
But that was our info that came out.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. It's a joint operating base. But
Well, it also could be a psyop. That's the problem. It
Yeah.
could be a psyop that we need more money to protect our bases, things like that. So if it was global, then there'd be at least something a little more to grab onto than just could we be being lied to and a balloon being utilized as how do we get $1 billion more out of your tax money to protect this. So
they don't need a reason; they just take it.
Gino's got it. I think we've solved it. This is a Boy Scout balloon. It's just like the one that flew over they shot down earlier.
So there's what NASA child joined down there.
Hello.
Oh, who's that?
Hello, NASA child. Hello.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
child?
Hi. Yeah, it just seems like a rehash of the Paul Benowitz Dottie stuff, guys. It seems like they're trying to feed us the same thing that made Benowitz go crazy. So I'm just letting y'all guys know that this was early drone testing, and they're just re-releasing a lot of it, except for the new data, which is just new secrets they're hiding. They're just piling it on top to confuse people and, drive the schizophrenics up a wall and tell us everything's going wild and everything's shape-shifting and it's all true, even though it's been fiction this whole time. Most of the stuff they're pushing on TikTok and that someone's leaking is a lot of BS. Y'all know that. We're looking for facts.
Vito doesn't know that, but I'm glad you helped me out there. We're looking for facts, Vito.
Suck a dick, Mike.
well, I think
these are aliens.
Okay.
Y'all know about Dottie, right? Y'all know about Benowitz, right? He was looking at the same stuff. He was like, it looks like something's over the nuke facility. And they're like, yeah, let's talk to you. And they were feeding this guy misinformation for years. Y'all know about the story, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Of course. It's one of the one of those things that I think is told to little ufologists to keep them in line is the Paul Benowitz story.
Yeah,
right?
I think that they're like putting us all in that like they don't think we already know that story, so they're making this viral like TikTok for the people that don't know, and that's why they're just shoveling it at us again with the old blurry stuff and stuff from 1948 and stuff from 1952 that there's no the people are dead that was there. There's no reason that they're hiding it. And the people that were working on it are all dead. The people that were there in person at Roswell are all dead. It's just like that stuff should have been released 25, 30 years ago, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, he's got a point here. Back when we used to do the F-117 or the SR-71 where people actually saw craft and called them UFOs, they don't even got to do that anymore. Now it's like orbs, crosses, and we're all on here talking about religious or God came back. We're making their job easy on them, I think. Especially Vito.
Sorry, my kid came in the room.
Navy has plasma orbs for targeting, meaning that instead of just shapes, they have plasma targeting where it's confusing radars and confusing people on the ground of what they're seeing. So they do have some weird plasma stuff, and there's probably other countries using it too, but there's been plasma before the Navy was using it for sure. Out there doing its own thing.
And they have just the basic, kind of targeting the targeting orbs that they use that are some of them are again, metallic looking.
No, is this Gorgon's eye stuff or something otherwise? And which military is using it?
Well, I'm just saying in general. I'm not speaking to
Yeah, I mean, some stuff we don't do, just like our Olympic teams, we contract out. Like the Norwegian have some better boats than we do. Who is the Norwegian Navy fought? But they have some of the awesomest boats in like the world navies of these sleek, small destroyer ships or something that are just totally badass. They're so fast. And it's just like obviously our military kind of contracts out from these smaller countries. And then the stuff we don't utilize as like full force, we don't buy 200 of them. We just buy 2 to 4 of them, when we give them to special ops guys and they roll in quietly and do what they need to do.
So, shit, where was I going? I totally just lost my train of thought. God damn it. Sorry. So there's been a lot of talk recently about, and this is coming from, like guys like Ross Coulthart. Gene, I know you frequently talk with him. There was this discussion being had around Lou Elizondo being a part of Legacy UFO program, and it kind of dawned on me the other day that, again, we've been saying this, I think, to ourselves for a long time. Lou has always been kind of upfront about what he's doing. He's always been a counterintelligence guy. He's not a ufologist. I think everyone knows the quote, right? I will never be a ufologist, or whatever he says. I'm a counter-intel guy. I was asked to put my services onto the UFO community. So do I see the similarities between like the Doty, Benowitz? Of course I do. And I think that Lou has probably been sent out to most likely start what we've been seeing. The first domino that fell was that New York Times article in 2017. It's no stranger that Lou is at the center of that article, right?
Would it shock you if we find out that he was part of Legacy? It would shock anybody. It wouldn't shock me. It makes sense.
Yeah, good question, Vito.
What's that?
Good question, man.
It wouldn't shock me if he was part of some sort of legacy program. And like I said, he was asked to do exactly what he's doing. So
Right.
when people
Slow
get on him
disclosure.
about but also enough deniability, right? So that's when he was in he's showing pictures of crop circle or whatever, the irrigation circles, right? Keep your limitations at bay, right? There's enough there to go, I'm not buying it. But there's also some with every, great piece of disinformation, there is a core piece of information. So again, I said it in the intro, I think our expectations and our experience with the phenomena, they're no longer just saying it doesn't exist, it's swamp gas, it's Venus. What they're doing is they're managing your expectation of the phenomena so that when it comes knocking, eventually, they can say, what the fuck you mean? We've been talking about it for however long now.
Right. Which is why they roll out Dr. Phil's. It's managing people, what they see. It's managing it. It's slow drip. Yeah, I get it. Now, what was your question, Mike?
No, just saying it's a good question because it's like, okay, then let's play the what if, right? So like, yeah, what if he is, does it surprise you? I think the other part of it is, does it matter? Because he's only got control over you if you listen to him, if you don't want to listen, just like me, just like Vito, just like Gene, just like Ty, or if you think he's telling the truth, you listen to him. But I mean, like, I don't feel like the sort of concept that it's like they've implemented these people in the community to keep us from the truth is really that big of an objective to overcome. I mean, it's like you either figure it out or you don't. They're not holding the files and we've got to figure them out. And then they say, oh, here they are. I mean, it's just another person who's got their story, their version of things. I mean, it is what it is.
To me, it doesn't matter at all. But the fact that he was on that UAP task force would put him as the person that would be on the legacy program. If you're running a task force about UAPs and UFOs and etc., wouldn't you be part of a legacy program? Wouldn't that be like the thing that you're doing? I mean, that's what makes sense to me. So to be baffled or curious or confused at the fact that he is or he was, or to that to be any type of like reality check is just insane to me. It would make sense that he was. He's supposed, he's got all these connections. It makes total sense.
Gene, what do you think about what Ross has been saying about that whole situation?
I mean, I think there's certainly validity to it. I mean, he's working for somebody. You know, he's
Yeah.
not a, you know, he's still contracted in there. So, you know, any guess is as good as the other. Any connection, you know.
Okay. Fair.
I don't know where to go with it. Other, you know, it's to me, it's like, okay, you know, it was another one of those like non-news items. I'm like,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I would assume he was. Yeah, exactly.
right.
Okay. I mean, what? So,
I agree. I agree completely. It's a non-news item. It sounds weird to say we've made him a hot button ticket, but it's like, okay, let's say he knows about the whole legacy program. Well, he's also the guy that's told us all this stuff is real. And if he doesn't, if he's covering something else up, then we got that. But I mean, even if we put him up and we bust him, what do we get? We get the same thing we have now, either a story you believe or a story you don't. I don't think he's going to be the key to like, here it is. I mean, you know, where's the bodies? Where's this? Where's that? What good would a photo do you that, you know, Grush is saying that they seen of crashes or bodies because you don't have it on the original device or metadata. Even if he's telling the truth, even if the photos are real, you can't prove it. We got to look at a different way of going about this. And it's not the photos of bodies, believe it or not, or crashes from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it's not Lou Elizondo telling us what is or isn't deep legacy program.
And that's,
Well, Mike,
you know, and I'll just harp on, and, you know, Mike, we were, you know, in our other chat that we have, you know, it's nothing anybody says matters. It doesn't matter. It's all the stuff that's, you know, what they're doing is what matters. That's where the story is.
okay. But
Mike, I got a question for you because you're a big time skeptic, I would assume, with this whole thing. So, what would you take as proof? Would you take an image of a body? Would you take video of a body? Would you believe that? Like, what would be proof for
Good
you as a
question.
skeptic? I think it's a valid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
for me, it would be a video, but a video can be faked. We could have seen videos of aliens already. We could have seen images of aliens. How many of these images that are being dropped in these files, right, are images we've seen for the last 50 years that are now just being released as authentic and official? And we're just rolling with it because the government isn't. And I've been always like anti-believe the government my whole life. You know, don't believe the government, etc. But now it's like, now I'm kind of trying to believe them because I don't know what to believe half the time. It's crazy. So like, what would you take as proof for you? What would be enough for you?
Yeah, I think this is where we get into how we're still harping on things like Roswell, or now before that, Mussolini, and then going into the 30s. A photo from the 30s of bodies or a crash is just not going to work. It's not going to work because you don't have metadata. It's also not going to work because Arrow's already bit that in the butt with their story of how they took down a photo of an aliens and put it in a bar down by a base and were briefing people that aliens were real. They've already covered their bases on that. They've already defeated you on that. So you have to have something new. You would have to have something released from, you know, a 35 or a 22, but that would mean it'd have to be now. And if it's here now and you got bodies or crash, you could show it. But there is my problem. Would I believe that? Yeah, but you will never see it because that will always be sucked up by the Defense Department, whether it's the power source or the anti-gravity, whatever stuff we want to talk about.
But a body has nothing to do with a power source. A body is not a
body shows you that there is an alien race that has this technology. So that's still the path of where would you go to find it. So if we say aliens are real and now we got a craft like the Tic Tac that can take out a whole carrier strike group, like Fravor said, in 5 seconds, then everyone else is going to be looking for aliens because they want that technology. So believe it or not,
but they're telling us it's real. But they're telling us it's real. They're saying, hey, these are craft. We don't know where they're from. They're not from here. It's not us. It's not our adversaries. We don't know what they are. Here they are. They're literally telling us this with 4 trances now, as whatever this fucking word is.
I don't think they're telling us just that, but they're definitely leaving us questions where if we believe that, we can go with it. But for me,
clearly there's something in there flying those things.
Everything I've seen in these, when we go out and we work with our radar system and we go on, everything in here, I wouldn't really bat an eye at. I'm just being honest with you. I see a little orb here. I see this going that. This isn't something I'd bring in. When I was at SSCI, they wanted the fucking craft and they wanted it clear. They wanted the goddamn data link and everything else. That's how they send you out on a mission. This shit's worthless. I'm just telling you guys that. I'm not trying to be mean, not trying to be sarcastic. This shit would not be accepted in a Senate committee or a SCIF. So if there's the good stuff, where is it? This sure the hell ain't it.
Real quick, is anybody else lagging or is it just me?
I think it was the site, I believe.
I didn't see any lag.
I saw a little bit. Yeah.
I see a lag
Gene
in,
is,
in
yeah.
Eugene.
Yeah. Hold on.
Could you see them using a proxy? And what I mean by that is a Five Eyes ally as a proxy to allow some of this biological material to make its way into the zeitgeist? Or do you think that they would be that the United States, if they have it somewhere, they would want to take the lead to show that their disclosure is credible? Does that make sense? I don't know.
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, I would hope at some point we see a live alien. If there are Nordics and they do look like us, let's
I
at
don't
least see
think
them.
honestly, I don't think live actually would matter. Sad as it is, I don't think live matters in this case.
No,
right?
I mean live is in like, here, let's walk it out and show that they're friendly, quote unquote. Here it is on TV. Here's Bidu or whatever the hell. Biju. Here's Stephen Gur's Biju. You know what I mean?
As wild as that would be.
But that honestly is what needs. That would literally shut. Mike would call me and be like, "You're right. You're right.
Of course,
pickles don't belong on an Italian sub."
That would be the end all be all.
Right. The nut drop.
Right. That would be it. No questions asked. But I think human nature. I think we have a dead one somewhere. That's
for sure we do. But no one's going to believe a dead one. But that's my point. That's what I'm saying. How many of these images that you just
have to let scientists take samples. And
like an actual body. Okay.
Yeah, and independently verified. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the whole nine. This would be.
That's what they're doing with the Nazca mummies, and no one believes those things. And some of those things are real.
Yeah. Gino, you got something on your mind. I'll let you go.
Sorry. You're no sound, Gino.
Yeah, you've muted.
Sorry about that. I think you guys are a few steps ahead. I think we are going to find out our first disclosure about any sentient being is going to be a plasmoid, and they're going to say it's intelligently controlled energy more than they're going to roll out any bipedal aliens.
Interesting.
So, I mean, Senator Luna pretty much said that.
And Grush.
Just very recently that there is intelligently controlled energy.
Plasmoids, yep.
And I'll tell you, as far as the phenomena that I personally witness, a lot of it is orbs more than anything else, especially out here in the desert where I am, where you look at it and you go, well, there's no beacon on it. It's not lighted like an FAA would want it lit. So we're either dealing with some kind of aircraft that is meant to not showcase that they're way high up in the sky, higher than any plane would be going at that point. So, so we either are talking about plasmoids or of something's moving in the sky or maybe it is just satellites that you could see with the human eye, which equally is plausible to me.
That's what I saw the most of was the orbs during the Jersey drones. I saw a lot of orbs, a lot of them.
So it's about the observables, of course, if you see things going in different directions and things like that, which typically the orbs that I see out here in Vegas, they're all going in one direction. But if you're going someplace, a straight line is typically the best way to go. But the interesting anomalous part of it is they start in the middle of the sky and they end in the middle of the sky. So you don't see them go from horizon to horizon. You're only able to see these plasmoids for a short time in the sky. Now, that said, I'm equally as willing to believe, or more so, that they are not alien, that they are aircraft. I mean, Nellis Air Force Base is viewable from any place in the sky is from any place in Vegas, Right. So I can't.
Do you think they're linked to the thing that went to the tether? Because that's what they're claiming that they are. Those things that went. Remember that tether? It was like a mile-long tether in space, and they got surrounded by those weird balls of light. Mm-hmm. Is that what they're claiming these things are? Is that?
Well, I'm not positive what they're claiming. I'm just telling you my personal experiences. I don't see a lot of craft. I have seen one in my life, which was a tremendous thing for me. But then every other anomalous phenomenon I've ever seen has just been orbs that are not identifiable as planes or, human-made aircraft. So,
Isn't it weird? Do you not find that is that sentiment, like, embody that sentiment? It is kind of strange to me that, like, in the 1800s, there's the airship craze. And then, it's kind of like this Jacques Vallée look at the phenomenology is like, it seems to be either that and again, of course, talking generally here, that the phenomenon is either reflecting what we're on the precipice of, like, technologically, or they are leading us, like showing us what's capable, so we keep striving for more. And I don't think either of those are tremendously, because, of course, it goes from flying saucers to nowadays it's much more plasma orby, like that's the common sighting nowadays. Whereas, for a long time it's saucers and metal balls and tic tacs. It is interesting to me, because I think someone brought it up earlier. That where was that? Because when I looked through these files, there was only a few. Where was that, like, square looking one where it was like had like 18 points?
You didn't play the video. You never made it to that video.
I went through all the files.
It does that crazy. It was green. It does like that crazy shit. See if you can find that on X. Here, I'll see if I can find that.
I want to add one thing to the conversation here. I was having a conversation with Jack Sarfati the other day.
Did he call you stupid 100 times?
Yes. Well, not me, but other people. Not me, but other people. One of the interesting. He's a smart man. He is
a smart guy. Yeah,
he's a smart man. But what he said was that the plasmoids are a sentient species, and that they are in a intergalactic war with the Greys. The Greys are operating technology that is craft, that, like what we're seeing, like with some kind of metal structure, whereas the plasmoids are obviously not that, or not obviously, but maybe not that. One thing he couldn't tell me was because he said he's not read into it. He doesn't know why they're fighting or what the end game is of that fight. So he also does not know what is happening off planet. He just knows that it is happening off planet as well. So he said the only things I could talk about is the on planet stuff that I've been read into. And this is what it is. It is two warring races. Now, I asked him a lot of direct questions. I said, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? He doesn't know that. I asked him, what are they fighting over? Are they fighting over us? He doesn't know that. So he said,
this is Jack Sarfati?
Yes. He said, I could only talk on what I'm read into. And what I know is those plasmoids are in a war with gray aliens. And they're two warring species of aliens.
I mean, what language did they speak, and which document did they sign, and was there a handshake?
Well, again, whatever he's being read into, either he's not telling the truth, which is very possible, or he is telling the truth and they're reading him into something that is a psyop, or he is being read into something that's real and they only have so much limited info, but he couldn't explain why they're reading him into it. So again, it's very, it's confusing to figure out. All right, we got this really smart guy who's definitely working with the government, who's saying these things. Why would he be misleading everyone? How much of the stuff is misleading? Now, of course, at the Y-Files, we did a whole episode on him. Did he get the phone call from NHI as a kid? What I told him was my theory, which of course makes me sound insane, is that I think that AI is being co-opted by NHI. I think we just like we did not create Wi-Fi, we discovered how to use Wi-Fi. I think it's the same thing, that we've created a way to create AI, and NHI is able to harness it. And what leads back to, if he got a phone call from the past, I think the only time travelers possible are going to be artificial intelligence, and that is going to, and if the box was created, the original AI box was created when he got that phone call, it was that time travel could be co-opted from the future as long as the technology existed in the past. Again, that changes a lot of the physics of what humans would have to go through with time travel. So again, that's a very far out there theory. I know that.
Was it a call from the past or the future? I think it was the future, right?
He got, yes, in the past, he got a call from the future.
Yeah, that's what he says, right? When he was like about 12 or something?
Yes, exactly. Which told him he was going to be working with Jacques Vallée and Hal Puthoff and all these amazing people, and he did go on to do that. So
yeah, I mean, dude, we could laugh at the guy we want to. He did some fucking crazy shit. He's got a crazy life, so
yes.
he clearly knows something we don't. So
either
who the fuck knows?
I find it very interesting.
Thank you.
That story, because it, again, that thought about could we be being led, like could we be like kind of, I guess the word you might want to use, depending on their ultimate goal or thought process on why they're doing it. Are we being co-opted, or are we being guided to create that next thing? And was that always AI? Was AI always the key that needed to be created to unlock what Mike has so humbly described as interdimensional portals, so that they don't.
When's the last time any of you guys had a CAT scan?
No. So think about this though, right? You see the fucking world, you see the cosmos, right? With some advanced technology, right?
There we go. Got it.
It then continues and continues, and then eventually, if life ends up there, right? If the project goes well, some of that portion is going to reach a habitable world. A percentage of that is going to survive long enough. Eventually, one of them is going to create AI, or maybe if that's always the goal, if that's always, why do we want to just create all the time? Why are we so, like, it's this Anunnaki kind of mindset. Whether that story's real, it's a good parable to what I'm saying. It's like we can't fucking stop creating.
Ty, you remember my big AI theory?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Well, could AI be the as Mike
the toaster again, Gene?
Yeah, the
no,
evil
the toasters are
toaster.
different. The toast.
He bangs
it
the
solves
toaster.
it solves that problem of the distance, right? Is by seeding it, and then you don't need to just take shots in the dark. It's wherever AI is created.
The last two.
That's
the middle one is
that there's intelligent life. That's the beacon. That's the beacon, is the creation of AI. That's the beacon that gets sent out to say, okay, this is ready for harvesting. I know that sounds kind of crude, but that's again what I'm trying to represent visually. Is AI is that threshold that needs to be met for whatever comes next. Could that be being co-opted? Yeah.
So my thing with the AI, what I wonder is that consciousness, our consciousness, human consciousness, is our and how we perceive reality. Consciousness is sort of the tuner, right?
Yes.
We perceive what we perceive because we are tuned in via our consciousness to certain frequencies, and that is what creates our reality. And we know, and this is some of my father-in-law's work, about there existing this information energy field, right? And this information energy field is ultimately the thing through which our consciousness needs to be able to tap into. And there's certain people and practitioners who tap into this information energy field that exists. And we've heard, people talking about, again, when you die and your soul, and it all goes into this universal information field and all the rest of it. what I wonder is that if the neural networks being built
Crazy.
by AI are not constrained by consciousness, do they ultimately have the ability to tap into this information energy field? And in some ways,
Is
the
that a
things that people are asking and the returns that are sometimes got through AI are not necessarily hallucinations of the AI, but they are the AI not being limited and tapping into other parallel dimensions and realities and things like that. And that's why we have Mandela effect. That's why we have these some of these time and information gaps that people experience.
Yeah, I've always thought you're good. You're because that coincides with like consciousness being, or our brain being some sort of receiver, and the consciousness being the signal. And like I said, I could take the radio and smash it, but the signal's still there. The signal's still dialed.
Right.
What the fuck is this?
And weird,
Yo, that's what
weird
I'm
thing
saying,
with my
dude.
computer was
It's
happening
crazy.
when I was lagging. You should have seen the shit popping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking
It
at
was
them sites,
I
Gene.
almost thought it was some kind of attack. I don't know, but
What am I looking at right here?
But hold on. So you
That's a
just
balloon.
showed
That's a balloon.
if you can hit the back button for a minute, my face looks a bit like Timberlake's does. Just hit the back button real fast on Astral's page. We got to get over this one real fast. There's me. Right there. So listen, if you freeze this
That's
video,
Grant LeBach. He's cool as shit.
if
I
you
like him.
freeze this video at the top, you will see both objects are in the frame together. So it didn't change shapes. It didn't do any of this. It's like the same.
So
pattern.
it's one object going
It's
one
one
way.
object, dude.
No,
then-
just freeze it at the top. You'll see
Mike,
both the missile and the blob in there. It's not.
Mike, I'm asking. You've watched it more times than I have, clearly. So this is one object coming into frame and another object that's now crossing under.
Correct. One continues, one comes in, which would be what we're calling the missile. So it's two different things going two different directions.
Oh, they actually might have been on screen together for a second. You're right. I don't have great.
Listen, zoom in 500
right
Magnum.
here.
Give me
Right here.
there it is. Yeah.
Right here. They're both. So
One's
unless
exiting the
this is-
screen.
Unless this is a fucking lag from our sensor data, and it's actually happening in real time somehow and breaking. That is, I mean, it does look interesting. I'll give you that. Holy, I mean that looks crazy. Yeah, that's.
Oh, sorry.
If I was the guy targeting us, I mean, I would love to hear what they actually see. Because again, back to Vito's point earlier, these 19-second videos, like, did anything else happen? Like, is that a missile being launched? What's the verifiable data here?
What's the 30 seconds of discussion happening before and after?
Right. And now, okay, is there another one? Where's that pointy fucking square one? That's the one I want to see.
Which one? There's one that's we're zooming at the screen real fast. That's at the bottom link.
There was one that looked like a fucking Rubik's Cube.
Hey guys, I got to jump off. Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys at the next
Gino.
one.
Hey, good seeing you, Gino.
Gino.
Later, buddy. Oh, the piggy one? That's the first one.
I don't know.
The
if
weird
that's
shaped
what-
one?
I don't know if that's what it's being called, but it's.
Oh,
looks like a
yeah.
Rubik's
It
Cube.
is being called that actually because of
The
Vito's
flying
right on
pig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
if
make
you
it
go to
look
the
like an Angry Bird
war.gov
pig.
site, if you go back to war.gov, go to the fourth tranche, separate the videos, or go to the far right, and then the pull down and organize just the videos. It's the last video on the second page.
All right, I'll do that. So what do you got? What do you guys know about this so far?
Weird.
Which one?
The flying. What'd you call it? Flying piggy?
Flying pig. It almost looks like, I had to, it's funny because, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, right? And they have a flying pig They have several iterations of a flying pig.
Somebody put Mick West's face on there. I was dying.
Yeah, and I had to go look it up
dying.
to see if it was like a razorback pig or just a regular.
Who's got Discord? Yo, if you're looking for that one, Ty, it's the first video I posted in the 3. It's on Astral's page.
Do we want to give?
Oh,
I know.
whatever. No, whatever.
No. My
It's easier.
my internet is actually acting up for some reason.
It's the ghost.
Targeting us.
The ghost in the machine.
We're spreading too much truth.
Yeah.
The balloons. Whistling Mike's like, that's fucking balloons, dude.
Now my face still looks the same as earlier.
The Timberlake meme. So I went to the last.
Yep.
I went to the last video, and it looks like a rendering. Wait, is that Gino not knowing he's on camera still?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, I'll kick him. Oh my God, he's gonna start jerking it. We're gonna be.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I hope he doesn't turn into like a porno.
Want me to kick him?
He's got.
Yeah,
he's got
Gene, for his benefit, get him out of here.
What's going on back there? Who's that
Yeah.
guy? Who the hell was that?
Just so we don't get
That was NASA Child.
a bad exclusive.
Oh.
I don't want to get the I don't want to get that the bad exclusive from the
It puts the
Wi-Fi.
lotion on its skin.
Yeah.
He just starts talking, Alexa, play my midget porn playlist. And you're like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, Gino. I can't find it. I did exactly what you said. I can't.
Then you didn't do exactly what I said.
Clearly. This is why you're supposed to be here, man.
Well, now get it. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. So, what does it look like to you guys?
What are we talking about?
Yeah, it looks like to me a collapsed balloon, probably something that was like a dinosaur or something that's just it's just, again, how you get from this to like a spaceship or anything to put attention on. There's just nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that much at least. Like, I don't.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know how it's some kind of, it's not particularly aerodynamic.
Yeah, you did it accidentally when you were kicking Gino. He happened to be popping up when you hit it. And you got him too. Yeah, no, it wasn't intentional for sure.
Oh my
Man,
God.
they took Gene out though. Gene's done.
The
shadow.
Okay.
I texted Gino to let him know. Yo,
I got the video.
Oh, you turned on his Alexa. Yeah, but change it.
I got the video. I got it.
Gene, if you see a red laser light, buddy, get out of the way of it. I don't know what they're doing to your lights.
So I'm sitting outside. I've had the
Let's see about the Amy Eskridge. You better watch out.
Helicopter's been flying over all day too. Those little black Robinsons.
What? Okay. This is what is
Now you see the pig tie?
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah. Okay. I do see it. The outline of it. Okay. That's fucking hilarious.
So that does look like a clump of fucking balloons to me. And the fact that the clip is like 14 seconds, again, it shows nothing. It shows nothing. Now it looks cool. If that's really a ship, what the fuck is that? Where's it from?
Yeah, I mean, and again, the only thing the white spots are those heat spots of some kind.
Why does
they AI'd it? They AI'd it, and AI added like all kinds of like lights and windows and shit, and like added stuff to like, people have AI enhanced it, and it's just.
That's what.
But listen, if that truly is something that's anomalous, they don't know what it is. They don't know it's a ship, etc., and it's legit. What is it? What's in there?
That's
How
definitely
big
the
is
most. I'll say
sick.
The most alien looking, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Organic,
like
most organic alien looking. Looks like it's alive.
What is happening here? It's almost like it lost its ability to lock it at the end here, and
it slips it.
Either that or it moves out of frame.
Right. But again, you don't know how fast.
Look at the interference at the end here, though.
Yeah. What is all that? Like, what? I want to see. I want to see the full fucking footage. Stop giving us these little clips. This isn't a YouTube short. You know what I mean?
Interference here. You said this earlier, Gene. The interference almost becomes a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is he was back on manual, and he's going to zoom out, see if anything else is to the right, left, up, or down. I mean, I think that's more of a simple answer versus like it somehow broke lock and took off at Max 1. I mean, it's just
Okay. Well, what do you? So you think this is some sort of just clump of balloons that's deflated? It's up in the air. We've seen that
I
a
mean,
bunch of times.
keep in mind, I will say I don't work at Arrow, but Kirkpatrick
You sure?
has talked about how where once you have the the sensor data, then you can program the sensors to look for this stuff. So a lot of what you're seeing, I think, is they're filming this because whether it's balloons, a drone, or anything else, they've got a lock on it. They can pull the data
breaking
from it.
news. Breaking news.
What?
I think I found it.
Found what?
It's it. Yeah. Close it down. Got it.
Kermie.
I think that's it.
Ty's
Pigs
mesmerized. He's like,
in
"Oh,
space.
Oh, Kermie.
That
It's just nothing to get excited about. I think that's what people got to say. Like, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. You get done at these, and then you got to ask yourself, how many more 2-week to 3-week periods do we want to go through this shit?
Well, I wonder how many more tranches there are.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, and why all of a sudden are they
20 million.
using
I'll
these words?
just- yeah,
Tranche?
Yeah, that's.
tranche
I'm not
is
real
a-
sure, but I will
You
say
know,
that-
tranche is
goofy
an
word.
interesting choice of words because it's French in origins, of course, and it indicates a piece.
Really?
Yeah.
A
So
piece.
we're giving you a
jigsaw
piece of
piece?
something.
Ah, so that's what. But it's just funny. It's like it's the word that everybody's using. That's like the word. It's the buzzword.
Right. Like
That's
everybody
what
knows what it means.
Right. It's like UAP. Like stop. It's fucking UFOs and aliens
No, it's
From what
it's like when
from what
Jesse
I've heard-
Michaels uses
or
a
balloons.
when Jesse Michaels uses a $10 word to say the most basic thing.
Yeah, but Ty, from what I've heard from what the people when we talk about these, and did I see anything? Did I look anything? From what's being said to me from folks, literally in alphabet agencies and military, is that there is at least a year worth of this stuff that's ready to go, and so nobody
you
really
kidding?
understands. Well, don't think that like this is what they dug up, and then 2 weeks from now it's like this is what we got for this 2 weeks. Like there's literally
Right.
shit on the fucking table. They're the ones picking to give us whether it's 4 files or 25 files. And then you look at the Dr. Phil thing now. Now Dr. Phil's going to get early access to it. I think you're fucking seeing entertainment and a narrative. You could dump the whole shit tomorrow, but why would you when there's a billion and a half views on this stuff? I mean, like,
Right.
we gotta look a little more at what's going on here. We're getting shitty shit. We're loving it. And there's a year more worth of it, which means there's nothing big in it. Otherwise, that would be the end. So you got a year of crap coming.
Arguably, but can you at least see why someone would maybe even with a conspiratorial mind would look at that and go, they are seeding me to become more understanding that that they are aware that this is real to some degree, right? Whether these are all just like, this is the 98% of bullshit, they want me to at least have posed the question in my mind enough times and seen enough bullshit, right? Seen enough shit to go, all right, not too bad, right? What they're identifying as UFOs is mostly garbage, but that 2% that they're still withholding is paradigm shifting in its just inherent nature. And that's what we end with. Is that real?
A lot of the JFK files where we got a whole bunch of information, sure have a lot of conspiratorial minds about who did it, how many shooters, still don't fucking know. That's what it reminds me of. How come we've got more of these files and get them every 2 and 3 weeks, but not like the Epstein files or any other crazy shit, right? Like there's a reason they're feeding it to you, and it's not because they want you to get disclosure or the truth necessarily.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like we're eating
For
this shit
sure.
up.
We
I
did get
wonder who's
millions of
asking
Epstein
for
files.
it.
That's-
Well, I
we got nothing.
wonder who's demanding it, so that because you got to think that someone's got to have a financial benefit to this somewhere somewhere down the line. There is someone who is saying reaping the benefits of this.
Yeah, who? Carl Nell, Lou Elizondo, Gary Nolan, Hal Putoff, Gallaudet.
It's not even just it goes on.
Go ahead,
Who's going to get funding from
Jay
it, right?
Str-
Avi
Jay
Loeb.
Stratton.
Keep going. Yeah.
Right.
Keep going.
Jay
I'm
Stratton.
asking the question.
I mean, they all have companies that are formed, and that's why I said earlier, they all have companies that if there's nothing to them beyond the paper that the companies exist, all of the companies are set up to exploit any technologies that can be exploited that come out of any release.
What you are saying at its head,
and I can prove it. I'll send you all the documents tomorrow.
What you're saying at the head, right as like to surmise it, is that the very people that everyone in the community trusts is double dipping and gatekeeping the real information to keep the mystery alive so that they can monetize the truth and the pursuit of said truth.
Sometimes I don't think everybody's gatekeeping. There's a whole lot of people that don't fucking know at all.
What they are doing is, on the one hand, right? So right now, the moneymaker is the monetization of the pursuit of truth. And so that is the public face of what their income stream. The books, the documentaries, the speaking fees, all of that stuff, right? That is what publicly is going on. That's the monetization of the pursuit of disclosure. They are hedging, and behind the scenes, and all of their interactions and their influence in government and in trying to open up the legislation and all of that work, the goal of that work is to structure the release of whatever materials there are that they have an interest in, so that it's no longer monopolized by the big guys, right? They're trying to legislatively even out the playing field so that the companies that they have established, when this stuff breaks, they're able to move in and be contractors, subcontractors. They are then able to pursue the integration layer that seemingly has not been done within any of these programs. So the history of this compartmentalization has been the research, the development, the materials. We see real time in the market the acquisitions of the materials, the geopolitics between the U.S., Russia, and China on the on acquiring and limiting the materials, right? All the bits and pieces. So these guys advocating for disclosure, right, have they have their own pre and post disclosure plan. Their pre-disclosure plan is this monetization of the stories and the pursuit, but they want the structures, and they're trying to influence the structures that will ultimately regulate this industry. They want to be influential in that and have themselves positioned to then be able to exploit that part.
The new industry that blooms from a. Okay, I mean I could see that. I could see that. So wrapping up for the most part, because I gotta take off in a minute. Any last thoughts? So Mike, has that been said anywhere, like definitively out in public, that there's that there's a whole summer's worth of this shit?
I don't know. I mean, what I say is that's not where I got it from. I've talked to the alphabet agencies. I'm talking to some more tomorrow on Monday, and what I'm telling you is they're
So
saying
don't
there's a year
expect
of
this
it.
to lay off anytime soon.
Listen, the discussion we're having tonight is about, is there anything there? And what the other side keeps telling me is like, I need to wait too. And it's like, wait on what? And that's what they're telling me is like, there's a
Right.
year worth of shit and there's better stuff coming. That's what I'm telling you. I'm told. I'm not telling
This
you
is the
that's
appetizer.
well,
And-
again, I may look at it and say it's not great. I'm just telling you what I was told. So
Right.
Okay,
supposedly,
fair.
And
No, fair.
you can go to the statement Lou made to me when I met with him and we were talking, and I said about, well, if there's something problematic in these works, do I need to pull them? Do I need to da 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 da? And he said, no, but they may want you to wait 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
They may want you to be quiet about it for 4 or 5 years.
No.
That's an interesting framing of that.
So
Hoy
there is
vey.
a timeline at play.
definitely a timeline.
So
And-
that someone is in charge of regulation of somewhere.
What I'm saying is there seems to be a 5-year plan, and that's something that a lot of businesses, that's the first thing you write when you start a business is a 5-year plan.
Oh man.
Am I
Oh,
wrong,
Known as the
Mike?
Bible. Yep, known as the
You
Bible.
know what's weird is like when TTSA first came on the scene, they said that they wanted to not only just like build a craft, but that they wanted to get into the like media, like Hollywood movies. They said they wanted to get into it was like the design of an intelligence overtaking, right? Like infiltration of each space. And it's kind of what we've seen happen. It hasn't been through TTSA the way that I think it was originally envisioned. It's like through this other means and methods that it's the same stuff is still happening. It's like it's always been there, just in plain sight, right? They've told us up front what they were going to do, and now it's being executed, and we find ourselves
Right. And we forget about it because somebody says there's a monolith on the moon. Yeah, and I'll show you. And you know this whole. I'll bring this up. Okay, I'll show you. So can you see my arrow pointing around there?
no.
Well, so remember are you aware of this fund that the Tuttle Capital had started?
Yeah.
Right.
At the Foundation talk. Yep.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. Whoops. Sorry. All right. So they started a fund. That fund is this red line, right? And what they did was they started tracking disclosure in general, right? So the Tuttle Foundation, the Tuttle Capital, built a fund based upon that included companies that they assessed would profit from disclosure. Okay. And their justification behind it was the idea that as revelations came out, the values of these companies, would jump and all the rest of it. So that's what this red line is. So essentially, it's in the negative right now. Even with all the news and all the developments, it's in the negative. What I've been doing is tracking the science. So using my father-in-law's works, right? I looked at the science and the materials that he described. And I found the companies that are doing that science and in tracking the market for those materials. All right. I took all of that and created a mock fund, right? So not really being traded, but tracking.
Okay.
This line is that mock fund, right?
The green line.
The green line. So what this shows is that through, this same period as Tuttle, but from different starting points, that as the disclosure story has evolved, that the materials and the science have exponentially grown. So these are real numbers. This is real buying and real value of companies operating in these spaces, pursuing that same science and the materials.
And this is the valuations all tracked over long periods of time.
So if this were a real fund,
it would have grown this much. It's easy to calculate.
It's performing 9%, almost 9% better than the entire S&P.
You're fucking kidding me?
Just to throw in on that real fast. So the Tuttle
that graph is good.
Yeah, the Tuttle is an ETF. So an ETF, rather than you're trading Boeing or Lockheed, he picks out companies he thinks has to do or would, if it was true, with UFO manufacturing and what they would gain from it. So his folder may have 8, 10, 12 companies that he thinks would be those companies. He either buys more or less of them. So all you're buying is his ETF, and he's the one that picks the companies for it. So it's a whole folder of companies.
Yeah.
Right,
So
that's kind of what Gene's saying too.
The bundle you're buying into.
If I recommended the companies based on what I've got and what I'm working with, including the materials, refining, and everything else, if you put down $10,000, you'd have $18,000 right now.
Yeah. This is what I found very interesting. Again, this is like a kind of a side tangent before we end here, is this whole idea of like poly market and like these new betting platforms that have like they're like making everything a bettable thing. I just don't understand why that's happening. But UFO disclosures on these things, like on
and again, that's just driven by.
I know. I just don't understand why.
Just driven by playing the odds. Why? Because everybody wants to try and make a gamble on everything. That's what it is. What this is what I'm talking about, though. When I'm saying they can say what they want, this is what's happening behind the scenes. This is where the real UAP disclosure economy.
This is the money
that you can demonstrate that the money is being spent and what it's being spent on.
Right. So this is a kind of like a follow the money, follow the markets that would be affected, that will be affected by advancements in material science.
And again, the only way I'm able to do this and discern it is by following my father-in-law's work, which has appeared in, again, the fingerprints are there in the U.S. programs and all the rest of it. So it's again just purely following the evidence and where it leads to from that, and then correlating against what's happening in the market. Because if there wasn't legitimacy to it, then this would look worse than probably, this line should look worse than this red line by all logic.
Yeah, right.
But it outperforms even the S&P 500.
Vito's going crazy on Robinhood after hours buying Gene stock.
I mean, you could do the thing where you mirror what's her face, right? You do that with this and make a lot of money.
That's exactly. I'm going to put it out there and say these are the this is
inside UFO trading.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. You're like trading with BlackRock. You'd be making billions.
Before we jet out, Gene, any I forgot to ask you this. Any update for the documentary release date, or is that just on pause?
Yeah, it's not on pause. It's one of those things that it's like so everybody wants to make it bigger. right? Which takes more money.
Of course.
I've had a couple of other producers that have contacted me that, you know, they're looking everything over. They want to, you know, get into it. So it's like, I don't want to finish it on a shoestring budget. If somebody's going to come in
something bigger
and do something bigger with it.
Fair enough.
And, you know, and things have been moving fast. So it's, again, making sure that the story we're telling in it, you know, isn't old by the time it does come out.
Reflective of the
yeah, which for the most part it's not, right? You know, we're there, but it's like, can we do something really impactment with it?
Yeah,
as these things are changing.
Yeah, that the only reason I ask is to kind of wrap things up and see where everyone's at. But
for the sixth time.
yeah, to wrap. I'm gonna say it again to wrap things up. Because if I don't say it to myself, you guys know I'll keep going. It's
I'm a guest on your show. I don't want to cut. You know what I mean? I'll go all night.
I'm looking at the clock literally right now, specifically the clock. Oh. I'm specifically staring at the camera that's right next to the clock.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be done at 8:45.
I laughed at that so hard.
I always say that shit, and I just can't do it.
I don't know why you even attempt to say anything like that. Just we're going to go till we're done.
I know. But also, you've been writing this new Black Grove fucking thing. I know you've been talking about that. You just showed us something from it. So that is what can be expected if someone were to subscribe to said letterhead.
Actually, Gene, I was going to ask you about that. All that stuff you're writing, is that all you, or is a lot of it like AI compiling your thoughts? Because it's a lot you're writing, dude. Like I'm impressed by it.
It's a lot. So I've got myself and 2 other people. The other 2 are one is actually a financial person. The other one's a business guy. And so there's a model that we run information through that ensures that the discipline is maintained in the assessments. Mm-hmm. So there's, you know, sometimes there's things where I'm like, oh, you know, this is, you know, this says something nice and I don't want it to, you know, because my personal prejudices, you know, come in as I'm reading something. But I have to sit back and be like, but this is what the assessment says. Now, when I talk about it, I can interject my personal assessment of, you know, of things. You
just have to separate it from the data.
No, it's very well done. That's what I was asking.
Right. So I'm very much ensuring that the analytical, so as far as, you know, the automation, the AI component of it, that is there to ensure that the parameters are strictly maintained throughout all of the products. We of course input again what we're looking to get out of it, validate that. Mm-hmm. So we got a tight little machine running.
I like it. Vito, anything fun coming up?
I just did a dry review. I got another one on the gaming side. I took a break from the live. I usually take a break during the summer for the live streams for the gaming side. And then I come back in September. So September is gonna be some different stuff. But on the UFO side, Vito UFO 76, I have an interview with Linvo Logan dropping. And then I got another video that I'm dropping over the next few weeks. It's gonna draw some attention to my channel. I'm not sure if it's gonna be good or bad, but it's gonna. You'll see. It's gonna be good.
Fun.
It's gonna piss some people off.
I like getting pissed off over shit. I can't wait. Sounds like fun. Let us know when it happens so we can be prepared to be pissed.
And I'm joining you guys in Boston in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah. So speaking of Lenville Logan, we're bringing him here to the studio. Gene will be behind the keys, of course. Vito, you're going to be tagging along. But right before that, we have Dean Aliotto coming into the studio as well. And then, so those are the next couple weeks, next couple guests for Total Disclosure. I'm sure while you're here, Vito will probably sit down and do like something in the other, in the green room. something more nonchalant. That because
We should have our pajama party.
I
Yeah,
think you're
like, we're all-
you're interviewing. You know what? I'll ask you off the air.
Yeah, and then I'm having Jason Sands and Angela Ford. Angela Ford, I'm gonna have to go to Maryland for, so it's still gonna be in person. It's just she can't travel here. She was in the remote viewing program. The Air Force and remote viewing are actually two common threads that are going to be coming up a lot as far as guests in the future, at least for the foreseeable future. But definitely got a lot of fun episodes to go, and of course, doing these every once a month or whatever it is, call-in shows, and just getting a panel together is super fun. We'll definitely do the pajama party. I like that idea a lot. We could do that right over in the next room.
I'm gonna look for some alien themed PJs and get us.
We're gonna do it. We'll do it all sexy like, and it'll be great. It'll be great.
Lingerie party.
Yes. So that's gonna be really fun. So as I always say, Mike. Mike, you left Twitter. You left X. I don't expect you to have anything in the works.
Yeah, really not. As everybody knows, went into Aero as a businessman, right? And at some point in time, you got to get back to business. So that time is now. But I will say I appreciate, anytime brothers give me a call or text, and still jump on YouTube. I like how we actually classed it up. It's very Walter Cronkite like, with you smoking and the light shining on you. And I thought you nailed it tonight. So
yeah, I like the setup. I like the camera switches were real smooth.
Thank you.
That
Gene usually does that. That's the funny thing about that.
She's like, "Fuck you! I'm on break time.
No,
I'm on vacation."
No. It was my fault that Gene couldn't be here. It's my fault. I'll take ownership of that. So, everyone, as always, stay humble, stay kind, stay vigilant. We'll see you on the other. I got to draw this out a little bit. The other